If you were to bite off a kneecap, how would it look?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Our boy Jeff is out today, so we have an old friend and kind of a new friend if you're very new. Stick with us, and of course, Adam. Welcome, boys. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up? What is this
so right, but it
round
feels
of
so
applause
wrong.
shit? What is this? Round of applause.
Because somebody in here can actually talk to you this morning and smack some sense into your negative face.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You're met with pure positivity this morning, Adam. See how long you
God
last.
forbid. God forbid there's any positivity in this room.
All right, well, I'm sure it won't last long because we have to start off with this preseason game against the Colts. The Lions lost 17-27 in the preseason finale. So what was your takeaway from it, Adam?
Oh, all right. Well, first, the Lions were very inconsistent throughout all four quarters. They jumped out to an early lead against the Colts. Again, third preseason game, you're not really going to learn a ton, especially because they didn't send out their starters. They actually did their complete reverse. The Lions played their starters the first game of the season, preseason against the Bills, and then they just started to rest players throughout. We've seen the Chiefs, the Bills, all of the really good teams rest the first 2 games and then play their starters for a good quarter, maybe even a half, depending on if you had a rookie quarterback. So it was very interesting to see. Lions, it's the same old story in how they lose. I know it's preseason. I know the games don't matter, but they also do. I'm not saying you need to go undefeated. I'm not saying it's okay to go 0-3. Who cares? It's a preseason record. But when you lose 18-0 in the fourth quarter, like, what do I do here? What do I do? The wide receiver position is as bad, if not worse, than I thought it would be. And again, Cephas had an early touchdown. That was the only good sign throughout the game. But again, it was the third preseason game. Penei Sewell ran all over again. If I was to take away any positive from the game outside of Cephas, it would have been the special teams and the defensive line.
Well, I think you're glaring over one of the biggest positives. If they lost like the second part of the game, that's because that was all the scrubs. That was all the people that probably aren't going to make the team. When the actual players were in the game, they dominated. So that's what I look for in preseason football is my start. I don't care what the fourth string guy does. He's not going to make the team anyway. So if we get blown out in the fourth quarter with a bunch of guys that aren't going to be on the squad anyways, then it is what it is. Overall, the game I thought was a decent game. I haven't really seen anything in preseason to excite me, and that's kind of been what Dan Campbell said coming into the preseason, though, is that they're going to be very vanilla. They're just going to run their offense. They're not going to get into gadget plays. They're not going to get into trying to confuse the defense or confuse the offense. They're just going to set up and hit the other colored jersey right in front of them, and that's what they've been doing. Cephas was, to me, the highlight. As you know, he's on my dynasty team, so I root for Cephas more than I probably should. But overall, it was a preseason game. Now it's time to strap it up, strap it on, and get ready to go.
Yeah, again, if you're looking for positives, there were positives. You can find positives in so many different things, whether it's individual play or just overall units. I thought for the entire preseason, defensive line unit looked pretty good. But back to the Colts game, again, this is a glaring problem the team has. Whether it's the 2s or the 3s, I don't care. They haven't been able to push the ball downfield. Whether Jared Goff was playing against the Bills in the first game, second game, third game, doesn't matter. They don't have the ability to push the ball downfield. And I'm not saying they have to go deep every time, but it does help when you can run a 10, 15, hell, even a 20-yard dig route, and you can get yourself out of a 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14. That's something I don't think the Lions are going to they don't have that ability this year.
That's where Tyrell Williams is really going to help out, and we really didn't see him much in the preseason. He's our deep threat. He's the guy that's going to be going down the seam. He's the guy that we're going to be blowing the lid off the defense with. So the fact that we really haven't seen our top-end wide receivers, and like we were talking before the show, they just released Perriman. So our wide receiver core is shrinking down, which was already, everybody can admit, that's our weakest strength right now. But we haven't seen them at full go either. So Tyrell Williams, you're going to have Cephas as probably your number 2 now. That's probably locked in. And then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So once the team's all together, I'm interested. And like I said, Dan Campbell, they weren't trying to do big plays. They were just trying to get some fundamentals down.
But that's their offense, though. You learned what their offense is going to look like.
I don't think so.
They're going to run the ball a ton. They're going to run the ball a ton. They're going to try to control the clock. And they're going to make efficient. They're going to try to set up Jared Goff in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6 at the best. If it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, book it. It's not going to look pretty. This team is trying to avoid that. Again, look at the wide receiver.
If it's 3rd and 10 in the NFL, it doesn't look pretty for any team.
Well,
I mean,
there's half of the league that can.
No, get out of here.
Yes.
Half the league.
Half
if it's
the league.
3rd and 10, your percentages are like 2%. Compared to like
not
3rd and 5.
2%. Don't
it's
just throw out
the
numbers.
NFL.
Don't just throw out numbers.
Lions
it's not even true. No, it is a Lions problem because that's what we're talking about right now. The Detroit Lions have a wide receiving core that isn't, I repeat, isn't going to be anything outside of bottom tier in the NFL this season. They have, if not one of probably the worst number 1 in the league, the worst number 2 in the league. I could make the argument probably the worst 3 and 4. Their wide receiving core is god-awful. God-awful. Everybody talks about Houston. At least they have Brandon Cooks. But he has the same problems as Tyrell Williams. It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
What do you think the average was for us last year on 3rd and 10?
On 3rd
conversion
rate. Last year. This is not the team from last year. Last
I know,
year,
but we can only
Jones.
go off stats that are already on paper, right? I can't make up stats
I don't
for
know.
the future.
I'm not Nostradamus. What, 50%, 54%?
50% was best in the league, and that was Green Bay. We were 15th in the league at 41%.
Okay, 41%.
So that's what I'm saying. Like 3rd and 10, it's a problem no matter who you are.
It's
not a specific Lions problem.
Yeah, but when you're converting,
that's what you want to do on offense is stay on pace. You're right. You do want to get it to 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, but that's every team in the league. That's not the Lions suck. Our offense is so dull. We got to dumb it down for Jared Goff. That's every team's point is to get there.
You say things that I didn't say. I love it. It's the best thing ever. First of all, when it's 3rd and 10 and you don't have a number 1, let alone a number 2 option, it makes it much more difficult to convert on a 3rd and long situation.
Of course.
The Lions don't have that, which is why it's going to be even more difficult. So let's say they
have T.J. Hawkinson and we got Tyrell Williams. Those are our long play downs.
I love the we talk. It makes me so warm inside. It makes me so warm inside.
It's so much better.
We got T.J. Hawkinson. He's going to get doubled all the time. Give me a break.
Good. And that opens up wide receivers. That opens up the running back out of the backfield.
I'm all for
weapons
optimism.
Are good.
I'm all for optimism, but this is too much. It's too much.
Well, I'm not fat, so hopefully my opinion matters.
Well, speaking of fat, you're horrible. What do you got to bring that up?
You don't think I listened to the dumb stuff you've been saying for the
dumb
past
stuff?
week?
I've been right
fat
the
people
last
are
2
stupid
weeks.
and can't coach. It's
That's
like
not what I
Andy
said.
Reid. Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches in the league right now.
Oh man, I don't know
but
why.
He's fat, so
I don't know why I brought
There's-
you up here. This is
there's
like
so much cholesterol in his brain.
I didn't say that. Again, I didn't say that. I can't help you, Stick. I can't help you. If that's what you're gonna come up with, it's gonna be a long day for you. But look, pros and cons from the preseason finale against the Colts. Defensive line looked good. They're deep at the defensive line position. I think that's it's a positive for sure going into the regular season. Secondary, I like it. I think it's better than last year. I think schematically probably just based off of common sense they were going to be better from last year with Matt Patricia as their head coach. But moving forward, whether David Blau or Tim Boyle is the starter, or backup, I could care
It's got
less.
to be Blau.
Boyle put in a good performance in the final game, but Blau had the better preseason.
Yeah, it's Blau. I mean, he's been here. Like, we're rooting for his wife. There's a feel-good story behind him. And then we saw what the Tim Boyle experiment did when Tim started the game. That was not anything that we want to see as Lions fans. So, yeah, I'm going with Blau 100%. But, the most popular guy in town is always your backup quarterback. So, Blau, get ready, because if Goff starts struggling, people are going to be calling for you probably by
they're not. Goff is going to struggle, and no one's calling for a backup in Detroit.
Oh, that's what we do here.
No, God, no. Listen, this is how the season's going to play out, everybody. I'll tell you right now. You're going to probably start 2-6, 2-7. You're like, oh, my God, Jared Goff, poor guy, has no help. What are we going to do? All right, well, we'll look to the future. Everything's all A-okay. They're not putting in David Blau in for Jared Goff unless he throws like 15 interceptions by week 8. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You're right, Adam. We won't need David Blau because Jared Goff's going to send us to the Super Bowl.
Is this just a piss off Adam show? I don't get it. You
No,
guys
it's-
really think that? Or are you just like trying to
No, I
aggravate
do think
me?
Goff's going to be a good quarterback.
He's going to
I
be a
think
good
he's solid
quarterback.
game
So that
manager. I think
2-7
he's taken
record
teams
that
to
you
the Super
said,
Bowl.
you're doing losses and
Well,
wins. So
I
2
love
losses,
every
7
single
wins.
person that says that. He's been on the decline for 3 years. He's gotten worse statistically every single year.
New team.
Okay, and now he's on a new team with an even worse. He's in the worst roster situation he's ever been in his career, outside of his rookie year where he went, I don't know, 0-7. And you expect him to deliver? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me.
What do you consider delivering? Do I expect him to be a solid game manager and somebody that's not going to put us in bad positions? That's what I'm expecting out of Goff. Like, I'm not expecting Goff to come in here and be Joe Montana or be Tom Brady.
So then why are you attaching? Oh, well, he took teams to the Super Bowl
because he did. Whether you want to admit it or not, he took a team to the Super Bowl.
How does that affect the Detroit Lions? It doesn't.
Because we've never had a quarterback here in Detroit that has been to a Super Bowl. And now, for the first time
that's your
ever,
standards. That's your standards.
No,
we got
that's
a guy that
standard.
was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. He's been crap ever since he's been there. And because we have him, oh my goodness, now we're going to make the Super Bowl, guys. Oh my God.
Did I say we're going to make? Now you're putting words in my mouth because you are losing the argument.
No,
and that's fine.
There's no argument here. We're talking about the Lions preseason finale. There's no argument.
But the fact is, Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Goff is 26 years old. Goff was a #1 overall pick. Goff won a playoff game last year. So the fact that everyone's like, oh, Goff's awful. He's not awful. We haven't even seen what he's going to look like. So to project him as awful and what he's going to do to the team is just foolish at this point. You don't know.
Goff is going to be awful because of his surroundings. And if you're not smart enough to say, I don't know, then that's okay. He's not going to be good because of his surroundings.
But you don't know.
I do know. His surroundings are bottom tier in the NFL. Bottom tier. He has the worst, if not the second worst, wide receiving core in the NFL. Yeah, he's going to be very good.
Okay, that's
Who do you throw to? Oh, you're going to throw to Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift, and T.J. Hawkinson.
If you have the best wide receiver core but have zero time to throw the ball, does it matter how good your wide receiver core is?
What are we talking about? He's had all the time to throw in camp. Corey Woods has been reporting on this the entire camp. He can't. Nobody is open. They can't make separation. This is not just a Jared Goff issue. This is a roster issue. The wide receiving core is not good, which means Jared Goff is going to suffer because of that. It's that simple. And just so you know, he's getting paid over $30 million to be the starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions during a rebuild. He's got 2 years left, which means they could care less how he plays over the next 2 years. They're looking ahead. They're not looking at this season or, oh my goodness, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is going to lead us to the playoffs.
If he plays well, they're keeping him.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not. At what contract? What are you going to pay him? Please, enlighten me. What are you going to pay Jared Goff?
In 2 years? I'll figure that out.
Oh, I'll figure that out.
You want me to predict
what are you going to pay him? You're going to pay him over $30 million? You're going to pay a 29-year-old quarterback $30 million.
If he's worth it.
A game manager?
If he's worth it.
Goodness gracious. Help me out, Kennedy.
You're on your own today. You are on your own. We have a positive person in the building. Let's go. And so, well, not that Juicy's normally negative, because he's not. So, but we have to take a break. We are going to talk some Tigers when we come back. Maybe they'll get along. Maybe they won't. Stick around to find out. This is Woodward Sports.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everybody. You are tuning in to the Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you so much for spending your Monday with us. What a wonderful way to start the week. Fish is over there fist bumping, so you know it's going to be a good week. So now we are going to talk about, one of these guys, maybe two, I don't know. I think one of them has turned this team around. The Tigers are not looking as horrible as they once did. So who deserves the credit for the success this season? Is it Avila or is it AJ Hinch? Stick. What do you think?
If you're asking me, I'm going Hinch, baby.
Yeah.
I think Hinch is the linchpin for everything that the Tigers have been doing. A manager in baseball is probably more impactful than any other sport, I feel. And we saw that when we made the mistake of hiring Brad Ausmus. And, Ausmus's quote was, "They're handing me the keys to a Corvette, and all I got to do is not crash it." And he drove it off the Belle Isle Bridge right into the Detroit River. And then we got Ron Gardenhire, which should have been the hire for Ausmus. But I think they got it right with Hinch. I wasn't a huge Hinch fan when they first signed him just because he wasn't really owning up to his part of the cheating scandal in Houston. He just said, I really didn't know what was going on. And if you're the head guy and you don't know what's going on, that is an indication of two things. A, you're a bad leader because you don't know what's going on, or B, you just turned a blind eye because you didn't want to know what was going on. So I hated he took that angle, but now that he's owned up to it, we can move on, we can move past it. He was a part of the cheating scandal, but here in Detroit, we are about to close in on our 4th consecutive winning month, which for the Tigers, if you would have told me that coming into the season, I would have called you a liar, and I would have been like Adham is on the Lions. Like, no, they're the worst team ever. Horrible coaching, horrible staff. The GM doesn't know what the hell he's doing. But no, we're looking good, and we've been on this streak, and I think that's all to do with Hinch and how he's manufacturing runs, how we're bunting, how he's putting in position players. His pitcher changes have been great. The way they've been bringing along the young guys. So I'm a Hinch fan. He's really converted me, especially over the past 4 months.
Well, I agree here. AJ Hinch is the clear answer. First of all, it's not only he's the clear answer, he's solely responsible for the current trajectory the Detroit Tigers are on. It's that simple. Avila has done nothing except overpay bumps, trade away very good assets for basically nothing, and just sit on his lazy butt and just suck. I can pick the #1 overall pick and the MLB draft every year, and you guys can say, wow, Adam's doing a great job. Look at our farm system. Duh! We lose 150 games a year. What do you expect? No, it's AJ Hinch. He took a mediocre roster. If not, it was average at best. It was an average roster with a few young guys that needed to learn the game, and he somehow managed to get them to almost a break-even point year 1, which is very promising if you're a Detroit Tigers fan. That means year 2, you're bringing up arms, you're bringing up bats like Riley Green, you're bringing up bats like Spencer Torkelson. You're going to bring them on probably 30, 40, 50 games in. You're only going to get better. This is a team I think for sure, year 3, competes for the AL Central. Now, whether or not they make a move in the offseason is kind of the biggest conversation happening right now. Are they going to go for Correa? Are they going to go for, let's say, a Cody Bellinger? I'm not sure who they go for. All I know is that they plan on spending big money, whether that's on 1 or 2 players, most likely 1 given their situation. But I think this is a team that could quietly be a dark horse contender just for the AL Central next year. Based on their current projection, AJ Hinch has done a phenomenal job, and he's proven you give him good talent, he'll win you ball games. This team has no business finishing the regular season with 68 to 70 wins. It doesn't. And, well, not 68 to 70, I'm sorry, 70 to 80 wins. They have no business. They have no business doing it, and they're doing it. Why? Because they have a very good manager who knows how to put players in the right position to win. And he's done a great job. Avila, kick rocks, buddy. You're not taking any credit for this one. Sorry.
I mean, I'm not going to completely deny Avila any credit. He did hire Hinch. So, like, he gets that feather in his cap, but he also had to go through several managers before he got to Hinch, so that's where it's like, all right, eventually I hope you got it right. But, yeah, I'm with you on this, and I love Hinch's comment over the weekend, pretty much just saying, hey, we're going to build a winner here, and you can either come here and win, or you can go over there and lose to us. And that type of mentality, it kind of gave me like Dan Campbell-esque vibes, which I absolutely love. A little bit of in-your-face coaching in baseball, which we haven't seen in a long time, really since Leland.
I was just going to say, I mean, that's your recipe to win. Just in baseball in general, this isn't about the Detroit Tigers anymore. You need a coach that is willing to stick his neck out, get tossed when he has to get tossed, but more importantly, he understands his locker room. Like, all right, like Akil Badu, right? Start to the season, everybody was in love, and he went on this major slump. You're talking almost a month of, oh my God, not this again. Somebody starts off April miracles, and then it all goes away. No.
Chris Bosh.
He's turned out to a good ball player. Not great, not an MVP candidate. You don't need 10 MVP candidates on your team. So I like the direction the team is going in. I'm going to attribute 99% of it to AJ Hinch. And I'll give Al the 1% just because he's the GM. I can't not give him at least a percent. But based off him paying Jordan Zimmerman, trading away JD Martinez, do I have to continue? It's been ugly. And again, I think the Tigers are looking good. Stick, I personally feel when Miggy gets 3,000, the discussion should be, all right, Miggy, what do you want to do? Do you want us to like let you go, or do you want to sit in the dugout and just like be a mentor?
He said he's just going to ride out his contract for the 2 years.
He wants to ride it out.
That was his quote. So
I'm not taking bats away from Riley Green or Spencer Torkelson.
Did you see Riley Green over the weekend just hit a bomb out of that stadium, like hit the building behind the stadium, and then it bounced back in?
It's a good time to be. It's a good time to be a Tigers fan. It's a very good time.
It really is. I mean, Torkelson is also, they moved all of those guys up through the farm system, so the young guys are playing well. Casey Mize, to me, I think next year will be his coming out party, and it's just been a great year. If Akil Badu can keep up what he's doing or what he was doing early in the season, then, we found a gem there. Really, we just need to start spending money, though, and get the Correa-type guys in here, and I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, again, I was really looking at this free agent class, and Cody Bellinger looks like a steal compared to Correa. He's 2 years younger, and he's not far off his MVP season. He's been hurt. He's been recovering. He hasn't gotten into his flow, whether or not the Dodgers decide to keep him. I know the consensus around Detroit is shore up the shortstop position, go get Correa. Everything's perfect. It's AJ Hinch's guy. Perfect. All right, got it. But I would take a look at Cody Bellinger. That's the player I like.
That's who.
That's my pick.
Everybody that's out there right now.
That's my pick. If they're gonna shell out a ton of money, I would like it to be on Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I don't care, really. I mean, Bellinger would be great. Correa would be great. There's a whole bunch of players that we can bring in to improve this team. They just need to start spending money. I mean, back when the Tigers, 06, 07, 08 was kind of a wonky year. But, back when they were making noise and making the World Series, it's because we were competitive in payroll. Right now, we have had a declining payroll, I believe, for like the past 8 years, and we're almost to the bottom of the league. So you get what you pay for in Major League Baseball. This isn't NFL. This isn't NHL where there's a salary cap and everybody's kind of on a level playing field. Like, no. You want to be a good team? Go buy the good players. You want to sit in the cellar? Do what we've been doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is like Cubs, Astros, Marlins repeated all over again. You suck for so long that you develop a good enough farm system. 2 out of the 10 players that you had turn out to be great, and the other 8 you dish off and you get good pieces to fill your roster. I think that, again, like I couldn't have imagined I'd be sitting here at the end of the season back in April, and I would tell you dark horse contenders for the AL Central would be the Detroit Tigers. Like, that makes no sense to me given how bad they were gonna be and how bad they were at the beginning of the season. It's not like, they weren't bad. They showed how bad they could be. And Hinch just turned it around with the team. The players started to play very well. Pitching has been, a very underappreciated part of the game, I think, this year for the Detroit Tigers. They've been pitching very good. Bullpen hasn't made many mistakes. I'm all for
everybody, this is the lovable, this is the Adham I know and love. Like, when he sees positivity, when he sees the growth, when he sees it and he's like, you know what, I'm okay with this. And this is the Adham I love.
I do. I sit up here about the Detroit Lions and I tell you guys, in 2 to 3 years, this is going to be a very good football team. They're on the right track. They're making the right decisions. They took an offensive lineman, 7th overall this year. They shored up their offensive line for the next 8 to 10 years. They addressed the defensive line. They're looking good. They just need a few years to build the roster because it needs talent. But don't sell me on Jared Goff, and don't tell me that this team is going to win 10 football games with Amon-Ra St. Brown as your best wide receiver. It's not going to happen.
All I know is they won 5 with Matthew Stafford last year, and they could do that.
Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
What's that?
Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
Meh.
Oh.
Meh.
Lions fans, when Matthew Stafford's on your team, he's the best. He's better than Jared Goff. If I would have told you January 29th, if I would have asked you who was a better quarterback, Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff, you would have told me Matthew Stafford.
Me?
Yes.
I would have told you that?
Yes. You
Obviously, you don't know me.
No, I know you.
You don't know me then, because honestly, no. I would have said, well, yeah, Matthew Stafford can put up some stats, but Goff has been shown that he can be a leader of men. He's taken a team.
Shown he can be a leader of men.
If you take a team to the Super Bowl,
my goodness.
a team with a 15th ranked
Trent
defense.
Dilfer's a leader of men.
Oh, you always fall back on one guy, Trent Dilfer.
Joe Flacco.
Did you see Trent Dilfer light up his high school team? One of my favorite videos of all time came out over the weekend. He does not play, so don't ever talk ill about Trent Dilfer.
Whatever.
And yes, there are situations, but go back and look at Flacco's run through that playoff. Dude did not throw an interception. I think he was 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So it's not like he just sat there and was like, well, defense.
And I didn't say Jared Goff just sat there. He was very good the entire postseason outside of the Super Bowl game.
Right, and what has Stafford been in the postseason?
The point is, it's not about Jared Goff that year. Jared Goff was very good, and he had showed promise that, oh my goodness, this guy could be elite his first 3 years. The last 3 years, Stick, are the problem. More turnovers every single year. QBR down every single year.
You think that has anything to do with
percentage
McVay's
down every
offense
single
getting
year.
figured out as well? You think that has anything to do with McVay's offense getting figured out?
How has it gotten figured out when they run the ball? They've been in the top 10 in rushing yards and attempts 3 of the last 4 seasons. How? They're actually like a functional offense. They're not just oh my God, Sean McVay is cute, he's creative.
It's a good offense, but it's similar to what happened with Lamar Jackson, in Baltimore when they first came out with that Lamar Jackson offense. It was unstoppable. Nobody knew how to compete. Well, then they ran into the Titans and figured it out. The tape went out to the NFL, and now the Ravens aren't the most intimidating offense in the league anymore, and that's what happens. It's going to happen with Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. It's already happened with Sean McVay. First year in the league,
Lamar Jackson hasn't been figured out.
Okay.
He hasn't been figured out. He had an MVP season, then he followed it up with 1,000 yards rushing, and he got better throwing the football. Lamar Jackson going into this year needs to get even better throwing the football, or they're never going to compete for a Super Bowl. So it's not about when you figure out teams. Everybody is paid to figure you out,
right?
But it's not figuring out. It's limiting what you're great at. Right, and that's what essentially it is.
We're arguing.
Everybody's
the same point.
figured out. Belichick, you know that he's going to take away your number one going into every game. You still can't stop it. Why? I mean, this is just like.
Well, no, you're talking defensive scheme now. Offensive scheme, Belichick has never figured out because he goes against the whoever they're playing. He goes against what their weakness.
Yeah, but as an offensive coordinator, Belichick wants to take away your one.
Yeah, as an offensive coordinator, I'm talking on offense. I'm talking about when an offense gets figured out, it becomes problematic in the NFL because, like you said, the defensive coordinators get paid too.
All right, you guys, we have to take a break. I don't even know how we got here. Like, how did we go from talking about a baseball manager to where we are? I'm not
Because we're talking about positive outlook for Detroit sports.
Well, that wasn't that positive now, was it, Adam? Was it? All right, well, I'm glad we got to hear a little bit of positivity about the Tigers. But up next, we got to talk about the Lions preseason as a whole. I'm sure it'll be super positive when you come back. Stick around. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Wood. Thanks so much for sticking around with us and hanging out with us this morning. We are so happy to have you here. But now we've got to talk about the Lions preseason and the takeaways that we had from it. What positives did we see? What negatives? Adam, let's start with you.
Right,
I don't even want to, but bring the positive
number
next.
1, the Lions defensive line shined throughout the preseason. It was actually the best unit that the Detroit Lions had over the preseason. I was very, very impressed by it. And you didn't see a lot of Trey Flowers. You didn't see a lot of the Brockers. You didn't see a lot of the ones. You saw the rookies and the twos dominate. You saw them dominate. They were imposing their will. It was very refreshing to see a good pass rush in the preseason. Again, you take everything with a pinch of salt in the preseason, but hey, you're looking for individual growth and unit development. That is my first takeaway. Stick, yours.
My first takeaway is this is going to be a feisty team. And I use that term mostly because of Amon-Ra St. Brown getting into a couple scuffles with another rookie, Iffy, and then they had like an all-out team brawl over the weekend. And we talked about this when the preseason and when training camp started is you're going to see this out of young, competitive guys, and they're kind of emulating their coach, and that's what I want to see. We're back to the Jim Schwartz era of the Lions, where we need to get our fire back, and that's what I feel is happening with them. I'm not going to fool anybody. I predict them to have a losing record this year, even though everybody calls me a homer because I have them going 8-9. But at the same time, I think that the fire, the energy, and just how they're playing together and how they're unifying as a team is going to make us go further, faster than if we were all hating each other like everybody was under Patricia. So that's my biggest thing, is watching these guys come together as a unit, even though fighting doesn't necessarily say that, but it also says that these guys are competitive and they're there for their teammates when they need to be.
I think you touched on a good point. They're going to be feisty.
Yeah.
They're going to have grit. They're not going to give up in games. They're not going to drop a donut in Carolina. They're not going to get blown out 35-0 in the first half to the Buccaneers, or at least they'll try their best not to, but at least they'll try, and at least they'll enjoy doing it. Again, it's year one. What are you expecting really from Dan Campbell? You shouldn't be expecting anything year one. You just want to see the players get better. But my second takeaway from the preseason is the Lions will finish bottom 5 in the NFL in total offense.
Oh,
They will. They will, and again, that's not like a bad thing. They're just not a good roster. You know, team camaraderie, culture is very important, but when the roster is below average and it's bottom third of the league, you can't overcompensate just with good coaching, or I should say better coaching and a better culture. That only gets you so far. That's only going to get you so far. And when you start playing these really good teams, and look at your first 3 games, San Francisco, Green Bay, Baltimore, they don't have time for hurry up and pack them up. Honestly, the only game of the 3 that you might get away from is going to be if Jimmy G comes out and throws a complete bomb in the first quarter and he gives you just a 14-21-0 lead. That's basically your only hope your first 3 games. So, again, I think bottom five in the NFL in total offense. That was my takeaway. I know we only got to see Jared Goff, limited T.J. Hawkinson, limited Tyrell Williams, no Swift, limited Jamal Williams.
Do you think that's by design, like just to keep everything close to the vest so nobody knows how to like play against us going into the season, or do you think that was just part of trying to keep the guys healthy?
I think it's beneficial maybe for a week or two. By the end of week 1, they have a full game footage on you. I mean, what are you going to hide from the league? Everybody essentially runs the same thing. They just try to hide it differently. Again, Aaron Glenn, you have Anthony Lynn. Everybody can go back to his track record in Los Angeles with the Chargers. All right, what were they running? How would they run this with Jared Goff? Like, teams are studying already. You look at Aaron Glenn. All right, cool, first-time defensive coordinator. All right, let's see what Aaron Glenn's going to... But you're going to imagine it's going to be like pressure built. They're going to try to get pressure on the quarterback. More blitzing. Cool. I don't think it's that much of a decoy as people think. I think they were trying to rest. They want to go into the season healthy. I don't see any problem with that. But again, you look at the roster, it's not above average. It's not good. It's not even great. So it's tough for me to just sit here and say like, oh, this team can be good. Like, I think they'll be happier playing football this year. I think when they win, they'll be better winning. They won't just have to come back last second and try to win football games. But again, you know, you can have good culture, you can have good coaching, but you can only compensate so much for a bad roster. And that's what excites me so much about the team. 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. I'm telling you guys, they do this the right way. They are going to be NFC North contenders. Come year 3, Dan Campbell, you can book it.
All right. Well, one of my takeaways from this preseason is that DeAndre Swift is not going to be the lead dog for Detroit. I think Jamal Williams is going to have just as many carries. And then what we've seen in the preseason is Jamar Jefferson is a contributing back. He's not just going to be a rookie that we have sitting on the sidelines. He's shown in preseason games that he can read the zone run scheme, that once he plants his foot in the ground and cuts north and south, he actually can get some valuable yards for us. And then Jamal Williams in the, 2 preseason games ago, he was just out-manning everybody. Like, one man could not tackle him, and he was showing it. He was pushing the line of scrimmage. He was getting first downs. And I love DeAndre Swift. I thought he was one of the best running backs in the draft last year. I was so shocked we were able to land him where we did in the 2nd round. But with these new things coming around, a new coaching staff, DeAndre Swift, to me, really hasn't set himself apart that far to be this elite back that everybody expected him to be this year. And I expected him to be that elite back coming out of last year. But from what I've seen in preseason and with the signing of Jamal Williams, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, when you say a lead back or a feature back, I mean, you know, we're so caught up in like fantasy world where it's like, this is my 1,400-yard rusher, my 1,200-yard rusher. The Lions just have a really good offensive line. They're going to use Swift and Jamal Williams heavily. They're going to rely on them to, 1, control the clock, and 2, move the chains. It's that simple. So I do agree Swift isn't going to be a feature back, but you don't need a feature back to win in this league, in my opinion. You look at your McCaffreys, your Cooks, even your Kamaras. Like, just because you have a feature 1A running back, that doesn't guarantee anything in the NFL. You still need to get the quarterback right. You need to get the offensive line right. You need to be able to put pressure on the opposing team's quarterback. You need to score points. So I do agree that I don't think Swift is going to be maybe as heavily relied on as people think going into year 2. But my final takeaway, and it's my most frustrating takeaway, Penei Sewell is on bust alert.
You stole mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
well,
you're fine.
at least, we can have a back and forth because I have a different take on Penei Sewell.
I don't think he's on bust alert. I think that's a little crazy. But...
Well, he's on bust alert, and I'll tell you why. Each preseason game, he has somehow managed to get worse. Now, again, he took a year off before going into the draft. He didn't play his final year in college, and I totally understand that. He needs to get football reps in. There's a reason why he's still playing in every single preseason game. There's a reason. You go look at other rookies outside of quarterbacks. They're not sending their guys out there for the full games or even full halves. Like, Penei Sewell needs the reps. He needs time. Come November, I think we'll have a good understanding of Penei Sewell's ceiling. But he wants to show out in the first 3, 4, 5 games looking like that against Indianapolis, against Buffalo. It's not going to be pretty. And, you know, I've seen offensive linemen all the time. He has the size, his footwork, his speed, his strength. Oh, my goodness, can't miss. It's the can't miss guys that somehow miss all the time. And Stick, a long time ago, we sat up here and we did a mock draft.
I was going to say, how's Slater looking in the preseason?
We did a mock draft, and I had the number 7 overall pick. I took Slater at the time with Sewell on the board.
Yep.
And there was a lot of backlash, and I get it. And I'm not going to be mad that they took Sewell. That guy just checks off all the boxes. What do you do in their situation, right? It's kind of hard to go back and say, oh, you shouldn't have. No. It's not about you shouldn't have, but open your eyes up very well now. Pay attention and help this kid improve, because it's not looking good. And if he is that bad over the 3 preseason games against 2s, Bosa's coming to town week 1. What is he going to do about Green Bay's defensive line? Baltimore's. Chicago's twice. Minnesota's twice. Again, I'm nervous for the kid because I want him to be great. I want him to turn out to be amazing. But he's on bust alert. Not because...
Dude, you can't keep saying bust alert. Bust is such a harsh statement to use for somebody who hasn't even played a game.
He's been awful. He's been so bad.
But
that's the thing.
But what are you considering? Are you considering that they moved him from the left side to the right side? That's like me telling you right now, Adam, you're no longer right-handed. I need you to write everything left-handed.
I do agree that the position...
suck for a while.
I do agree the position change is hurting him.
No,
I do agree.
It's everything to him. Like, his whole life.
Not everything.
No, everything, dude. Everything. His whole life, his first step back had to be left foot planted, 90-degree angle, you putting his hand here, right hand here, left hand here. Now you have to retrain your entire brain to say right foot steps back first, left hand punches. It's an impossible
I get it, and that's
thing.
why he's getting the reps.
Not only did he have
and
the
that's
year
why he's
off,
getting the reps.
Not only did he have the year off, but now, you know, he's playing against better athletes than he's ever played against. You've moved him to the right side out of his natural comfortable position. So, like, yes, I am concerned because he has been the lowest rated rookie by PFF. I'm not saying I'm not concerned. I'm just not saying I can't look at the guy and call him a bust.
Because
we drafted him as a left tackle and we're asking him to do something completely different. That's like drafting a quarterback and then saying, hey, Justin Fields, throw left-handed now. Oh, well, Justin Fields can't throw left-handed. He sucks.
No, I'm not calling him a bust. I'm saying
he's on bust alert.
He's on bust. Okay, there's a huge difference between saying Penei Sewell, you're a bust, and Penei Sewell, you're on bust alert. There's a big difference. What I'm telling you is you need to pay attention to the kid and make sure that he develops, because the last thing you want is him rolling out his first 6, 7, 8 NFL games looking like that. He's going to lose all the confidence in the world, and he's not going to look good. It's going to hurt the football team. So maybe you have to sit him and train him at right tackle if Taylor Deckers is so important.
Sit him? You don't draft a guy that high and sit him.
Well, you don't draft a guy that high, change his position, and then send him out basically to fail, which is what they've been doing. You're going to send him out week 1 against Nick Bosa? Good luck.
The preseason is where you're supposed to fail.
Yes.
Like, this is where you're supposed to get those
reps. Yes, but you're supposed to show signs
it.
of progress. He hasn't shown any signs of progress. That's the point. That is the point, is he hasn't gotten better. That's what's concerning. Again, do I think he's going to turn out to be a very good offensive lineman? I sure hope so. He has everything. He has all the tools to make it happen. It's a new position. He's got a lot to learn. I'm totally on board with that. But it's very concerning, regardless of a position change, when you play that bad. It's not that he's like, oh, you know, he made some good plays, but he had some fundamental mistakes. It's a new position. No, he doesn't look good. He just doesn't look good, and that's where my concern is.
Yeah, I think the coaching staff needs to help out that line, too, and turn this into a smash-mouth football running team off the bat. Like, we need to be running at 60 to 70% of the time this year, and that takes away some of the guesswork for Penei Sewell, too. You know, you're not guessing the blitz, you're not guessing your drops.
You're just going downhill.
You're hitting the guy in front of you, and that's where we need to dumb it down for him right now and just turn him into the mauler that we all know and hope that he is. Because, honestly, draft night, we all wanted Sewell. So for anybody in this room or anybody to say, I don't know about drafting Sewell, like, it was the consensus pick for the Detroit Lions, especially after the Bengals took Chase. It was like, oh my God,
I think the
we
Waddle
got
thing.
Sewell.
Well, two teams passed, and they both need to protect their franchise quarterback.
Right.
Tua had injury history. Burrow was murdered last season. He gets murdered in camp because how bad the offensive line is in Cincinnati. And those two teams passed. Again, I agree with the decision to draft Sewell. I think he's going to be a very good football player. But you gotta put him on bust alert. I'm sorry. The dude has not played well at all. He needs to get better quick because San Francisco is 2 weeks away.
That's crazy.
And it's not going to be pretty. I can tell you that much. If you thought his preseason performance wasn't all that great, wait till real NFL talent shows up. Again, you got to protect the kid. What do we got to do? Like Stick said, run the ball more.
Yeah.
Dumb it down for him, sure. But you're going to have to drop back and throw the football, especially when you're a football team, realistically, that's going to be down a lot of the game. You're going to have to drop back and throw the football. And again, I really am concerned. Not for Penei Sewell as a football player. I think his development, we can all see it. He has all the potential to be one of the best tackles in the game. But, you know, when you go out there have been many quarterbacks who couldn't miss, and they lost confidence. They got hurt. They just kept getting blitzed and sacked. They got paranoid. They couldn't throw the football anymore. What are you going to do to a rookie right tackle who gets beat on every other play?
That's why I think they should have started him out at left tackle. Like, as much as
it would have been easier to move a vet, in my opinion.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, Decker probably could have transitioned a lot easier than Sewell. And eventually, isn't that the plan, to move Sewell back to left tackle? Like
Taylor Decker, I believe, has 3 years left on his contract. So I don't know. I think it would have been easier to move a vet to right tackle than put a rookie at right tackle who's played left tackle all his career. But regardless, this is a situation we're in. But speaking of situations, if you're Penei Sewell and it doesn't work out for you at the Detroit Lions,
where can he go work?
You go start a new career at Northwestern Tech in an industry that is always essential, like your offensive line on a football team, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching The Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. We are so happy to have you here with us this morning. Welcome if you're new. We've got a lot of viewers right now. This is awesome. Thank you. But now we're going to switch from the Lions to maybe the Dolphins. So Deshaun Watson could be heading there. It seems that they are number one on the list to take him. I don't know. I wouldn't do it personally, but Stick, what do you think?
I think you got to be able to handle a whole lot if you're bringing on Deshaun Watson to your franchise right now. And you got to make sure that you have done your due diligence. You got to make sure that you know exactly what is going on 100% of the time in this young man's life, because you could bring him on and tomorrow some more shoes can drop and he's not able to play in the NFL ever again. So I don't know. I think Deshaun Watson is massively talented. I mean, what he did at Clemson was amazing. And, you know, what he did at Houston, just trying to keep that team afloat while they were trading away every single good asset they had, was pretty amazing, too. But I honestly, I'd pass on him here in Detroit. I don't want to deal with that, especially with the momentum and the things that we have going on with our new coaching staff and just how everybody's kind of united under one front right now. You don't want a divisive guy in the locker room. And I don't know Deshaun Watson personally. This is all just, hey, I'm playing this with as much caution as I can. Miami Dolphins, I don't know what the hell they're thinking. You go ahead, you draft Tua, you say that that's going to be your franchise quarterback moving forward. You've given him maybe a half of a year to see what he can actually do under center. And he's done okay, but this goes back to like addressing Lions fans who freaked out that we didn't draft him and sit him behind Stafford for a year. And it's like, well, now he's not the guy. And they're kind of doing to him what they did to Josh Rosen in Arizona when they drafted Kyler Murray. Like, you spend a number one draft pick on a quarterback that's supposed to be your guy, and you're already talking about shipping him out for Deshaun Watson, a problematic quarterback that could cause your franchise to lose money. I just don't think it's a smart business decision.
All right, so for the Miami Dolphins, I'll start off with this. I hate this move for the Miami Dolphins. 6-3 under with Tua at quarterback. They were almost a playoff team last year. I believe they were 10-6 on the cusp. They have Brian Flores, who's done a great job. I know you
love Flores.
I love Flores.
Yeah.
He's done a great job with the defense. One of the few Bill Belichick disciples that have actually shown promise in the NFL outside of Bill O'Brien, I guess, if you want to call him a disciple. But having said that, I also love this move. Deshaun Watson makes Miami not only AFC East contenders, but AFC contenders overall. When you get a dynamic quarterback, and again, you don't know what Tua is yet. It's so early. He didn't have enough supporting weapons last year. Now this year, you give him a Jalen Waddle. Mike Gesicki coming back. You have a solid offensive line, a good run game, a very good defense. Like, you'll learn about Tua come November. Everything you need to know about Tua will happen come November, Thanksgiving game. You'll know everything about him. You'll know whether or not he's going to be a very good quarterback or he's just a good quarterback, game manager, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. But you bring in a Deshaun Watson, as long as it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, and you're not losing anything significant, it's a good move. It's a good move, and I'll tell you why. Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Tua right now. Yes. You bring in Deshaun Watson to that football team. He brings you all the dynamic mobility that Tua gives you, except Deshaun Watson doesn't have too much of an injury history. You're not too worried about him getting sacked and missing significant amount of time. Tua's dealing with a hip injury. I mean, like a serious injury.
It's not the between-the-lines things that I have an issue with Deshaun Watson right now. We know he's a good player, and injuries, fine, all of that. It's the fact that he could be taken away from your team at any time. And how do you build a foundation around somebody that could be gone tomorrow? You can't. I would rather have a mediocre quarterback that's there every single day and reliable than build this whole franchise around Deshaun Watson. And next thing you know, another accuser comes by. This time they have evidence, and now he's no longer allowed to be on my team. And I'm a big, innocent till proven guilty thing. But when there's that much smoke, there's usually fire. And it's sad what's happened to Deshaun Watson, because to me, he's an elite quarterback. Like, I wanted him. I was going to trade for him.
Where was he on the NFL Top 100? What, 18 or 20?
Yeah, he's great.
I mean,
but how do you do that to your team?
Again,
man?
He's going to miss 4
games. If he was
games.
a linebacker, no problem.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, like,
but
no problem. Bring him on. I'll take the baggage.
Yeah, that's your CEO.
But your quarterback,
yeah.
You can't risk that on a quarterback,
Look,
man.
All I know is that if I'm Miami, I'm a 10-win football team. I'm projected to win probably 10, another 11 games this year. Make a wild card. I'm not competing with Buffalo. They're head and shoulders above me. But you know what the difference is between Buffalo and Miami? The quarterback position. Quarterback position, and Stephon Diggs, I would give you that. But the Buffalo Bills didn't have an amazing edge rush last season. They addressed it drafting a D lineman in the first round, but the rosters are very similar. I would give a slight edge to Buffalo if Miami were to acquire Deshaun Watson. Right now, it's a clear gap. There's a reason why they're probably going to win the AFC East again. But again, you are able to get Deshaun Watson, let's say, for a 1, a 4, and a player. You got to jump for it. You got to take the risks. High risk, high reward, in my opinion. He's probably going to miss 4 games. You're still going to have Tua, so you can throw Tua out there. But again, maybe you have to trade Tua to Houston. I'm not sure how the deal.
There's no way Houston's going to give up
about the logistics.
And not get a quarterback back.
I'm not sure what the logistics are on that. Houston's are in a clear rebuild. They're clearly in a rebuild. Even if Deshaun Watson goes back to Houston, who's he throwing to?
Nobody.
He's in the same situation Jared Goff is in. Who am I throwing to outside of TJ Hawkinson? Who is reliable, consistent, stays on the field? Tyrell Williams, you don't know if he's going to play half the year, let alone the full season. So, again, Deshaun Watson in Miami, I hate it for everything you said. But, God, I love it. That risk-reward management would be... It could pay off, or it could blow up in their face, and it sets the Miami Dolphins back 2-3 years. But you know what? You got to look in the mirror and say, all right, Tua, Mac Jones, who's better? I think it's they're pretty even right now. I couldn't tell you who's a better quarterback.
Mac Jones looking damn good.
Mac Jones looking very good.
Did you see he ran a lap with his team after they got in a fight? Like, he didn't have to run with them, but he ran with the linemen who were fighting for him. Like, that's great leadership. You want that.
He has that fiery, that fiery outburst that Tom Brady typically had in New England. I thought it was really cool over the weekend versus New York. But again, Tua's not I could make an argument he's the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the division.
That's fair.
And that's what you're going to go compete against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? No, if you're Miami and Deshaun Watson is available and it costs a limited amount, I think you go for it. If they're asking for 2-1s, 2-1, and something else, no, just you got to move on. You made the Tua commitment, just live with it. But
well, and let's be honest, if it wasn't for this all these allegations, Deshaun Watson would be commanding more than what Matthew Stafford did. Like, you'd be giving up 2 number-1 picks plus a serviceable quarterback to get him, and even then that may have not been enough. So, like, Deshaun Watson's talent is supreme. We can never debate that. It's just, is it worth the risk?
The problem with Deshaun Watson, again, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
But he's not just elite. He is in the echelon of elite. He's a top 6 quarterback. Any given year, he could be a top 6, top 5 quarterback.
You taking him over Dak?
That's his talent. Well, he's in a similar boat to talent.
That's
It's
what
like,
I'm saying, like,
Dak. They're so close to being like the guy, but whether it's injuries, off the field issues, they haven't put it all together yet. But those two guys are clearly pole runners to take over the future of the NFL, along with Josh Allen, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. But again, Deshaun Watson available at an okay, affordable price. I'm doing it if I'm Miami.
Kennedy, let's hear from you, because I want a female perspective on this.
Lord.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a female issue.
Yeah.
He's being accused of sexually assaulting women, many women. As a woman, if he was to come to a team that you liked, would that put you off as a fan?
Oh, 100%. I would hate it. I would be so disappointed in whoever was involved in making that decision.
But why, though? Because people like Kareem Hunt are still in the league and they're playing.
Well, and I think that sucks.
Yeah, but the NFL, again, this is like an NFL issue. I don't think this has anything to do with the teams or making a move. I think this is just a league policy issue.
Yeah, but you still got, the team still has to make the decision to bring him in. So it has to be a discussion in a group full of people.
Right.
I think it's a discussion, but I'll be very honest. Behind closed doors, if we're sitting down and we're talking about this, all right, Kennedy, that's a very good point. Well, right now the league isn't punishing people that are doing this. And I have an opportunity to make my team not only division contenders, but AFC contenders and potentially a Super Bowl team, because we have the defense to do it. We have the pieces around my quarterback. If I make this move, guys, we could be that's the discussion that's happening behind the scenes. If they're going after Deshaun Watson, the league isn't punishing these players. So until the league comes out with a domestic violence or something like off field where it's like a legitimate punishment where you make this mistake once, it's not just 4 games. No, it's half the season. And then the next time you're done. Because everybody deserves a second chance, I believe. So if you give everybody that second chance, they do it again, they're done. Michael Vick came back in the league. There's so many players that have been able to come back. Again, we don't know. Again, Deshaun Watson isn't guilty yet.
Right.
He may be. He probably is. We don't know, though. He hasn't been proven guilty. So until that day comes, it's tough to sit up here and say, I'm not making a move. I'm going to make a move for Deshaun Watson if I'm Miami.
Well, it just sucks because right now in the league, there's 16, I believe, teams with women on their coaching staff. And that, to me, just would be like, well, we don't really care about your safety or how you feel about the matter. We want to win. So I guess it's just what does your moral compass tell you? I mean,
listen, I've been on record on saying that I want violent offenders on our team. I want somebody that went to JUCO that stabbed somebody. Those are the types of guys I want the Lions, because I feel like we've played this nice guy game way too long. But there are certain things that cross the line for me, and that's one of them. Assaulting females, it's okay, it's not really somebody I want on my team. A guy that messed somebody up in a bar fight, cool. Bring him on. Let's go. We need that
Joe
guy.
Mixon, basically. But again,
Mixon punched a girl
woman
in a
in the
bar
face.
Fight, but she punched him first. So
we know how Adam feels about that.
How do you feel about that? Was she fat, Adam?
All right. Do we really have to? All right. So, long story short, remember the Pittsburgh Steelers game, Detroit Lions?
Yeah.
The chick who instigated a fight with the dude in front of her?
Yep.
I basically sat up and I just said, she had it coming. I'm sorry. She had it coming. If that was me, she's not just getting a 1 piece, she's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And her husband got it too. So.
Yeah, some women got to understand. You can't be swinging on
You can't be swinging at people.
No. Especially in the time of equality.
That's what I said. I said, if you're all for all this equality stuff, you got to be all for these hands.
You can't have it both ways, right?
Can't have it both ways. We do got to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I do want to finish that by saying that dude held great restraint, because when she hit him the first time, he was ready. He's like, "You're a woman. I'm not gonna do it." And then he put all his aggression on the dude. And what'd she do? She swung at him again.
Yeah.
She had it coming.
Adam loves that guy.
I love
He
him. This is
just
my hero.
loves him.
If he ran for president, I would be out there every day. I'd quit my job and I'd go pull for him.
Him and Sons
I
and
would
Four
be-
guy as VP.
Dude, I would be their campaign manager the day they run for president.
All right, well, we got to wrap up. When we come back, we've got Overreaction Monday. But first, Stick has a friend to tell us about.
Do I?
You do.
I got a friend to tell you about some Greek pizza. That's my friend, Papa Romano's, or how does Joyke say it? Papa Romano's. Go Greek with Papa Romano's for a limited time only. Papa Romano's is introducing their new Greek pizza. It's a classic blend of bold Greek flavors, tasty Mediterranean toppings, tomatoes, olives, onions, feta, and more. Get a large Greek pizza today for just $16.99. PapaRomanosPizza.com. Opa!
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show. We are so excited to have you here. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Monday. I hope this is a great start to your week. We have our new segment that we started last week, Overreaction Monday. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Adam. I'm nervous, but what is your overreaction this
My
week?
Overreaction Monday actually will make a lot of people at home at ease because it has nothing to do with the Detroit Lions.
Oh.
Or maybe it does, depending how you take it.
Oh.
This quarterback draft class will have a minimum of 2 Hall of Famers in it. And I think minimum, it could be 3, could be 4. I think 3 is probably the max, realistically, but minimum of 2. There are 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks from this draft class. It's absolutely amazing. Zach Wilson has showed Aaron Rodgers-esque ability. Mac Jones has come on and surprised a lot of people. The offense runs so much better with Mac Jones. You could just watch compared to Cam Newton. You would think like preseason before it even started. Cam Newton's obviously going to win the job. No, he's not. Mac Jones can play football. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Justin Fields, oh my goodness, looks good. I like it. I like it. Trey Lance, a little raw. That's the one I'm going to pause on. Trey Lance is a little raw. I think he needs the whole season just like Justin Fields, although they're both in different situations. And then, of course, Trevor Lawrence. Balled out the last game of the preseason, shown that given time, given the adequate pieces around him, he can not just be a game managing quarterback or a good quarterback. No. He can be elite. He can make all the throws. And I think, again, my overreaction Monday, this quarterback draft class will have a minimum of 2 Hall of Famers.
All right, I can see that. I mean, it's a deep, deep class, and everybody that you discussed, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, it felt like you couldn't go wrong if you were drafting a quarterback this year.
No, there were so many teams that needed one, and I don't blame the Lions for not. I think a lot of people like to, oh my goodness, we should have got Justin Fields stick. We should have got Mac Jones. No. The best offensive lineman prospect in the last 10 years dropped to you at 7. What do? Your hands are tied. You got to go for him.
You take him.
If Sewell was gone, I promise you, this would have been a much easier draft for the Detroit Lions. But he was there. It was like, why do you think they celebrated the way they did?
Right.
That was so unexpected. This is like Christian McCaffrey falling in your fantasy board to 5. It didn't make sense. There's no way. How does McCaffrey fall to 5?
Right.
That's essentially what happened for the Lions in the draft. So, yeah, no, for me, overreaction Monday. 2 quarterbacks, Hall of Fame minimum.
You ready for my overreaction?
I love it. I can't wait.
You ready for this? Amateur sports are better than professional sports. That is my overreaction Monday.
I can't.
The Little League World Series was one of the most entertaining sporting events that I have ever watched. Better than the Super Bowl, better than the World Series, better than the NCAA tournament, because you are watching pure athleticism. You're watching, they're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it for endorsements. They're doing it for the love of the game. It's baseball being played at the highest level, and these kids from Taylor, Michigan, Taylor North, went out and won the entire Little League World Series. And I'm telling you, amateur sports like this, we need to broadcast more Little League sports. Like, there needs to be Little League football that's on at all times. There needs to be Little League baseball. I want to watch 12-year-olds playing basketball against each other because it's so much better than watching LaFlop James and his $1 billion go out there and protect his brand every game. I would much rather watch little Jimmy from Taylor North, who cuts lawns for a living in the offseason, go out there, bust his butt, and win championships. It's pure, it's awesome, and it's everything that sports should be about. I love the Little League World Series. More amateur sports, please.
You okay, buddy?
I loved it.
You okay?
I loved it.
I think we need to have a one-on-one sit-down, heart-to-heart here.
No, this is overreaction.
This is beyond overreaction. This is trauma.
Oh, no.
I think over your lifetime.
You're telling me watching that Little League World Series wasn't better than watching the Tigers
he doesn't like Little League World Series.
Was it better than watching the Tigers in the World Series? Because you just said the World Series, the Super Bowl, the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
All of your lifetime. That was better.
I enjoyed it.
Holy, that is overreaction. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what to say to that.
You didn't enjoy it? Dude, how amazing was it?
He doesn't like Little League World Series
They're sitting
baseball.
there talking to this little girl who runs around and gives everybody hugs. That's how she gets rallies started. They're sitting there talking to the grandpa who's cutting lawns for his grandson because his grandson's in the Little League World Series. And grandpa's sitting up there with his old white beard saying, yeah, I cut the lawns and I can't wait till this is over and he comes back and can cut them himself. Like, that is Americana, man. That is everything that sports should be about. And I love it. I loved every moment of it. And the fact that Taylor, Michigan, downriver was being chanted on national TV, like, stand all the way up, downriver. You guys did it, and we're going to talk about you more later on. But to me, more big-time amateur sports, and I think you'll see TV ratings will come.
I would never choose to watch a Little League game over an NFL preseason game.
What?
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I tuned in for the first 3 innings because I was interested. They were up 3-1, I believe, and then I was like, all right, football's on. I'm betting on football all day. I don't give a crap about this game
anymore. You can bet on the Little League World Series.
I'm not betting on anything. I'm not betting on little kids. You think the kid that walks up there, hey, my name's Big L, I'll let it hit dingers. You think I'm gonna rely on that kid to get me on the over? No way.
Hit dingers.
His dad probably took the under and is telling him, hey, Jimmy, if the bases are loaded, swing for the fences, son. Just get rid of it.
And they got the mic'd up coach that goes out there and talks to the kids and, like, we're in a tough situation right now. And, he's a dad and he's a coach. Like, the dynamics are just so special in the Little League World Series, man. I can't believe you'd flip that off to watch the 4th-string running back that isn't going to make the team.
I was definitely watching the Jacksonville Jaguars play yesterday.
Ugh.
I couldn't help it. I was watching
Did
anything.
you like my tweet?
Go ahead, tell everybody at home. I don't want to do this.
Adham,
I tweeted that the Jags are going to be good and that I didn't care what anyone said. That's not even my overreaction, though. But someone...
What the hell is that shirt?
What?
His shirt
what
says
happened?
Lebanon versus everybody.
Hey, our boy Adam.
It's the best part about being live right on Woodward. People walking by with random shirts.
What the hell's
Lebanon
wrong with
versus
you?
everybody.
It's 9 in the morning. Get a life. What are you doing walking around in Birmingham?
There's a lot of people
What
out
was it,
there,
Kennedy?
Adam.
I'm sorry.
Well, that wasn't my overreaction, but I did tweet that the Jags are going to be good this season.
Oh,
but
no, that is overreaction. The Jaguars are going to get Trevor Lawrence probably killed the same way the Cincinnati Bengals did. God help him. God help him. James Robinson, though, is the #1 backstick. That has huge fantasy implications.
Sorry, Travis Etienne.
I will say, Stick, if they had a channel of Timbit hockey, I would watch it 24/7 because it is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
How old are the Timbits?
Little nuggets that just fall down and they're skating on half the ring.
I'm not championing that. I don't want that. I don't want to watch kids just fall down. Like, the thing that I love about the Little League World Series is these kids are shifting. They're playing real baseball. They're hitting their cutoff man. They're always in position. Like, it's legitimate baseball at the highest level, and I loved it. I would watch that over. I would watch a random Little League game over a random MLB game any day.
I would rather watch fish. Watch Australian rugby than watch the Little League World Series.
Which I was doing that this Sunday. Did any of you? It was on FS1, I believe, or FS2.
They had rugby on?
Yeah, it was
that's
on
why
FS2.
cable television is dying, Fish, because they put stuff like that on TV.
Okay, I will say there was a very big overreaction, I think, over the weekend. All right, the tweet. Don't yell at me. This is just a thought. The Colts lost their left tackle. Should the Lions call and offer left tackle Taylor Decker for a first-round pick and more and move Sewell to his natural left tackle position? They could use Crosby at right tackle right now for... Is this dumb or interesting?
Wow, that is great. You know why? I'll tell you why. This team is not competing for the division, let alone a playoff spot this year. Their intentions this year are not to win 10, 11, 12 football games. So, if you get rid of a Taylor Decker, you put Sewell, who we agree had an awful preseason at a new position, you get him at his natural position. You know the team isn't going to be great this season. Hell, probably not even good.
What are you doing?
So, you trade Taylor Decker, you stack up. Now you got 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. I think it's interesting. I'm not saying you do it, but I think it's interesting. It's worth a discussion. I like
think it's
that.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Our strength is our offensive line. That is the only thing this team really has going for it right now. So to start dismantling it before you even get to see it together, and yes, you're going to get another first-round pick, but with that first-round pick, who are you hoping to draft? A Taylor Decker. So, like, what are you doing? You're just
why? No. I love Taylor Decker.
Right, you're throwing away, like, what's in your hand for what could potentially be, but you want what's already in your hand with what could potentially be. So, no. Whoever suggested that is stupid.
They're not stupid. It was interesting.
Who was it?
Woj.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
Look, jokes aside, I'm being serious now. If you're offered a 1 and a 3 or a 1 and a 4, I don't think you can even get that for an offensive lineman. But if the Colts are that desperate, we're in a win-now situation with Wentz. Frank Wright's going to make that call. They're going to go for Taylor Decker. I'm open to a first-round pick and some assets. I think that's a great deal. And again, you're not looking to make a run in the playoffs like the Colts are this year.
Yeah, but you're never going to be looking at a run for the playoffs if you keep trading away your best players.
You have a top 2 center. You have a top 2 center. You're not trading away your best player.
One of your top 3 linemen.
But you're drafting Sewell in the hopes of he's just as good, if not better.
Right, and then you got to draft another guy for Decker to replace Decker.
Or you can sign somebody in free agency. No, that's not true. It's not true. I think it's interesting. I'm not saying you have to do it tomorrow, but it's definitely worth a discussion.
I just go back to the old saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's pretty broken. It's been broken for 4 years.
This is the best line we've had in a long time on paper. And we'll see throughout the season. It hasn't been proven yet, so I can't argue that they are the best we've ever had. But honestly, why don't you just give these guys a chance to grow together? They're all very young. You got them locked up under good contracts. Like, let these guys grow as a unit. Quit trying to rip things apart and putting it back together. If you're going to spend money, spend it on a wide receiver. If you're going to go out and draft somebody...
Oh, they can't. They're paying $30 million to their franchise quarterback.
It's less than they were paying to their last franchise quarterback.
They're paying more. Stafford was a $24 million contract on the cap.
5 wins out of $24 million.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
But you're cool with that.
I got 2 first-round picks out of him. I'm pretty cool with that.
2 first-round picks and 12 years of devastation. Awesome.
I mean, it's been 6 years of devastation. I don't know why you're going to pin it just on Stafford, but Kennedy, take us away.
I'm just putting his 12 years on him. That's his time served here.
No, I agree. I agree. He underperformed. 8-67 against winning teams.
Yeah.
I'm not here sitting defending
0-3
Stafford.
In the playoffs.
But he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
7 quarters. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, a little sassy, aren't we? All right, well, stick around with us. You'll get more of the sass right here on Woodward Sports.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Welcome back, everyone. So glad you're sticking here right with us on the Woodward Sports Network. You are tuning into the Morning Wood. Thank you. All right, we are going to talk some more Penei Sewell. We have talked about him quite a bit this show, but is he on track to be a bust? We kind of know what Adam thinks already, so let's start with Stick.
Let's see. On track to be a bust. I hate using the term bust, especially when we've only seen the guy play in preseason games. Is he trending where we want him to be trending? Hell no. And I mean hell no. Like, I expected him to come out and just, like, drive people into the stands. We have not seen that out of him, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. If he was starting at left tackle right now and having these issues, I would be a lot more alert and a lot more on guard for what he's doing on the field. But the fact that we completely switched his position, changed him, forcing him to mirror everything that he's learned his entire life. To me, I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Like, I will give him like the first 4 weeks, first 5 weeks, and then I will truly start judging him. Judging him off a preseason game when he's out of position, playing a new spot, it's really not something that I want to get involved in. But like we said earlier, the Lions need to do their best to protect this young man as well. And I'm talking run the ball. Hit the man in front of you. Just blow him open. And that's when linemen get their rhythm. That's when they start getting some momentum. That's when they start feeling good about themselves. And confidence goes a long way, especially in football. If you start thinking you can't, you're already done in football. So that's what I really want to see out of the Lions. I can't call him a bust. I don't think he's trending towards bust, but I really have to see actual gameplay out of him before I plant my flag on any part of this conversation.
Well, the question is Penei Sewell on track to become a bust? Now, what's the definition of a bust? Like a Jamarcus Russell, he shows up to camp, overweight, is not doing a good job, plays awful in the preseason, shows some glimpses, but it was never consistent, couldn't put it all together, he wasn't there mentally, whatever. All right, Penei Sewell, he's on track to be a bust. He's on track. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be a bust or that he can't recover, but he's on track. 3 awful preseason showings. He hasn't gotten any better. He hasn't shown any signs of development. His first 3 games are very difficult at a new position. He's on track to become a bust. Like, it was a pathetic preseason outing. I've heard a million times that this guy can't miss. He's a Hall of Fame left tackle in the making. Great. There have been so many of them in the last 10 years. Sewell has an opportunity to become one of, if not the best tackle in the game, given his potential, his size, his skill set. Great. I haven't even seen glimpses of good things. And I told you before the first preseason game, look for the individual little things. Don't worry about if they go 3-0 or 0-3. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's just look for individual players to show improvement. Jeff Okudah, whether it's Okudah, Sewell, any of the rookies you drafted. Look at Derek Barnes. He performed. I just want to see positives. I can't take a positive out of Penei Sewell's preseason. Where does that leave me? Leaves me with questions. Do I think they can be answered by Thanksgiving or the end of the season? I hope so. Hope he turns it around. Do I think it's worth busting on this kid because Taylor Decker's at left tackle? No, that's why you consider the trade. I think that's actually a smart thing to consider. Is Taylor Decker worth more than the future of this kid that we just spent his number 7 overall pick on? And I think the answer to that is no. But again, is he on track to become a bust? He's showing all the signs. Poor preseason. Hasn't shown any glimpses of the flash or the talent. We always say this about quarterbacks. Oh, wow, he made that throw. Look at that throw. Yeah, all the quarterbacks can make the throws. But who can get it between the head? Who can get it right? Who can understand coverages, go through his progressions? Who can figure out the protection scheme? Like, we're dealing with an offensive lineman here. And we're 3 games in. I've seen 3 games worth of footage.
3 preseason games in.
Again.
You keep saying games.
Yes.
These aren't games.
Is he going to be a starter?
Doesn't matter.
Is he going to be it doesn't matter. Okay, wait. Answer this. Is he going to be a starter?
Yes.
Okay. So my starting right tackle, left tackle, doesn't matter. My starting right tackle
has struggled in the preseason.
Has struggled against 2s, 3s, and 4s.
It's a preseason.
How he's on track to become a bust. He hasn't shown anything. I am very concerned.
Dan Campbell disagrees with you.
I don't care what Dan Campbell says right now. The kid is on track to become a bust. Does he need time to grow and learn and get better? Yes. I'm going to give him all the time in the world. That is not the discussion. He has shown nothing but bust warning signs. It's that simple. He's shown it. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust, but he has shown, oh my goodness, he's not playing well. He's still making the same fundamental mistakes. Does he need time? Absolutely. But come week 8, you're still getting this out of him?
And that's what I said.
That's a problem.
Give me week 4 or 5 before I start this bust talk. Like, it's crazy to me that it's preseason and we're using the term bust for a guy that is out of position.
Though. The worst PFF graded rookie. The worst graded
out
rookie.
Of position. What other player are they grading that was drafted as a cornerback and now they're playing him at wide receiver? Or
Look,
like
you can
this,
make all the excuses. You can make all the excuses.
It's a fact.
It is a fact that he's playing out of position. Great. You know what? Again, if he wasn't playing that bad, we wouldn't be sitting up here having this discussion, would we? We're only going to rely on he's on a new position. Stick.
I'm not relying on it, but that's part of the reason why he's not performing to the level that we thought he would. Another reason is he had an entire year off of football. Like, going for a year off, going against college kids in Oregon, to coming to playing pros in the NFL while switching positions, that is a lot to throw at anybody. So that's why using the term bust, I hate doing it. And here's what Dan Campbell said. He said he got beat a few times, but yet I'm not discouraged, and neither should he be. The important thing is that he learns from that. Every time he gets a fastball from a dang good rusher like Melvin Ingram, when Melvin wants to turn it up, which he did, he could still bring it. He could throw the fastballs, and they're beneficial for Sewell to see those and learn and adjust. I'm encouraged.
I'm on board with that. That's cool. Good. I want my coach encouraging the player. I don't want Penei Sewell to be a bust. This is not the discussion. Will he be a bust? You can't answer that right now. It's too early. Is he on track to be? If you just forget he's Penei Sewell, if you just forget about that you're a Detroit Lions fan at home, and you just looked at, I give you this player, I move him to X position, this is how he's played over the preseason, you look at me like, oh my God, we spent a number 7 overall pick. Remove yourself from the situation and just look, he hasn't had a good preseason. Will he be a bust? Way too early to tell. I'm on the same page as you guys. Don't worry, guys. He's not going to be a bust ideally. But he's not playing well right now. And if you walk into week 5, week 6, week 8, and it's like that, you might have a Laramie Tunsil situation where he might not figure it out in Detroit. He might figure it out elsewhere. Ideally, you don't want that to happen. Yeah. But it's way too early to say he is a bust. But it's not too early to say he's on track to be one. He's shown all the signs of he's not good. He hasn't played good. That's what I have to work with right now. What I have to work with is he's had a bad preseason. So I can sit up here and say, although it's too early to say whether or not he'll be a bust, I can sit up here and say he's had a bad preseason. He hasn't done a good job. Do I think he can get out of this? Absolutely. But is he on track to be a bust? He's showing all the signs of it. Will he recover? I think so. He can't be that bad. He's got all the intangibles. He's got a good culture around him. I think he'll be good. But right now, it's not good. Just right now. Could be totally different 2 weeks from now, and we could all be happy about Penei Sewell. But just remove yourself from the situation. Stop with the Lions fandom for just 1 second and listen. If you just forget who he was and what team you rooted for, you would look and be like, goodness God, he's played all 3 preseason games and he's gotten worse every game? Oh my goodness. Are there any positives?
You could do that with so many rookies, though.
Okay, good.
So many.
Then take a step back and say that.
Yeah, but it's the preseason. They're like, I don't get the point of this. Like, it's the preseason. Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. How'd they do that regular season? 0-16.
We're talking about an individual, not a team. The individual has played poorly.
The team is made up of individuals, correct?
What are we talking about here? You're talking about Penei Sewell's one-on-one matchups with a defensive end every single game.
And we're talking about how he fits. No, so you don't understand how offensive line works?
Oh my
think
goodness.
It's just one guy out there on an island?
Oh, you know, Stick, listen, man.
What I'm saying is it's a unit. It's a unit. They move together as one.
And he's been a very bad part of the unit. He's been a very bad part of it. We're not evaluating the team right now. I'm not saying the offensive line's not going to be good or any of this crap. The dude hasn't had a good preseason. Accept it. Can he get better?
I've accepted
I hope so.
But I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
We're not throwing him out of the bath. We're not throwing him away. Nobody said he was a bust. Nobody said he was a bust.
He's on bust alert.
Yes, he's on bust alert.
Then
he's shown all the early
on bust alert if they have a bad preseason. That's crazy.
There's a difference between being a bust and showing signs of becoming a bust. That's why he's on bust alert, because he has not played well. He's going into a very difficult 3-week stretch for the regular season at a new position. I'm concerned for the guy. Does that mean I think he's going to be a bust? Absolutely not.
Is Jamar Chase going to be a bust?
No, it's too early to say. But he's had an awful preseason.
What are we doing then?
The question isn't.
You literally just used what
the question isn't, Stick.
If you would
listen, if you would just listen, maybe you'd be educated.
I'm listening.
How about you listen?
And then I use your words against you and you hate it.
The question is not, is Penei Sewell a bust? The question is he on bust alert? And yes, he's shown signs of becoming a bust. Is he a bust? No. Is Jamar Chase a bust? No. Is Zach Wilson a bust? No. Get over it. It's not about if he is a bust right now. No one is saying he's a bust. Stop crying over, oh my God, he's going to be a bust.
That he's a bust.
Huh?
You're arguing very hard for that he could be a bust.
Could be.
Yeah, could be.
He isn't.
Could be a Hall of Famer.
He isn't.
I don't hear you arguing that.
He isn't. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Kennedy, get me out of here. This is ridiculous.
I don't
here?
even know how to handle either of you right now, honestly. But coming up, we have Let us see. The Lions' regular season predictions. Great. This is going to be another mess. So stick around for that. But before, Adam has a friend to tell us about.
Yeah, our friends are Coast. Since 1919, the Coast has had one pure mission to make the working professional's job safer and easier. Guys, look at Stick. Stick's got the knife. Toss me the knife, Stick.
It's open.
Actually, don't toss me the knife. Visit coastportland.com. Use the code WSN20 for 20% off your purchase. They stand by their products, guys. They're good people as well. Good products, good people. You couldn't ask for anything better. Again, Coast Portland. Use code WSN20. We'll see you right after the break.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning into the Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so now that preseason is over, we got to talk regular season. The guys have their updated record since the last time we talked about it. So let's start with you, Adam. What do you got?
Yeah, so when we did this last time, I had the Lions finishing 5-12. I think 5 is achievable for any bad team in the NFL. I think you can pull off 3, 4, 5 wins. After the preseason, we didn't learn anything new about the starter, Stick. I think we can agree on that. They kind of hit everything from us outside of the first, 8 minutes against Buffalo. So you don't really know what to expect. It's not going to change too much for me, but I've never been more confident that this is going to be a losing football team just this season. I think I'm going to drop mine down. I think they're going to be 4-13. I think it's a good under bet. No way you guys are laughing. Like, this is not a great football team. They're going to struggle to move the football downfield. Laugh all you want on 10-7 and everything you think, Art. But regardless, it's not that I want the under. I bet on both. I bet it when it was at 4.5. I bet it when it's at 5. So, regardless. So, keep your mouth shut for 1 second. This football team is not going to be a good football team. The wide receiving core is going to hurt Jared Goff and the offensive line just in general over the course of the season. They can protect him for 5, 6, 7 seconds. It won't matter if there's no separation. The wide receiving core is a glaring issue with the team. The secondary is raw. It has good potential, but it's raw. The defensive line, I think, will be very good this year. I think they're going to probably finish in the top half of the league. I think anywhere between in the top 18, I think this defensive line will finish.
Even with that bust on the line?
I'm sorry?
Even with the bust that they have on the
defensive
line?
Defensive line.
Okay.
Offensive line, PFF had them 10th going into the preseason. They're going to be fine.
They'll
but
be fine.
Penei Sewell needs to get better. But regardless, let me finish my point.
I love you, man.
It's going to be a tough year. Jared Goff is going to struggle. Again, not because he's not a good quarterback. Jared Goff is a good quarterback. But he is surrounded with the worst, and it's not even an argument, the worst talent outside of his rookie year that he's ever been around. Hawkinson will get a majority of the attention. If this team isn't able to control the clock and get early leads, they're going to struggle. And you know what happens when you fall behind early? You got to throw the football more. And this team is, in my opinion, are going to finish the bottom 3 in total offense because their passing game is going to be so awful. So I think they're going to be 4-13. I'm going to give them a win less than what I had them last time. Again, this is not the year to be hopeful if you're a Lions fan. Next year, the year after, I'm all game for it. 2 first-round picks next year, 2 the year following. I'm all game. I think it's a good rebuild. If you want to hop on it, great. If you don't, and you think this is going to be a 10-win football team or even an 8-win football team for you guys, I think you're in for a rude awakening because the culture, a good culture and good coaching staff is not good enough to overcome a very bad roster. And that's just my opinion.
And that's fair. You can have your opinion, and the year will play out. So we'll get the final results in that. I'm still going to stick with my 8-9 prediction, because the way I look at this and the argument that I've been using against people is, I looked at last year's team. That was a 5-win team. Now let's break it down. Our offensive line is better compared to last year. That's a plus. Our running back game is better than last year. That's a plus. TJ Hawkinson is going to be better than he was last year. That is a plus. Our defensive scheme has switched from a 4-3 to a 3-4. It looks like we're going to have more aggressive defenders, which we were historically bad on defense last year. So I think that's a plus. And when I add up all these pluses, to me, it's a plus or minus 3 games, right? So we won 5 last year with a quarterback who was pretty much wanted out of here, injured all year. Now we have better offensive line, better running back, better tight end play. Wide receivers, yes, we've fallen off, but last year, Kenny Golladay was injured pretty much the majority of the season. We had Marvin Jones. We had Marvin Jones, but is Marvin Jones that big of a dude to where losing Marvin Jones takes you that far back? Nah.
Well, when you replace him with Tyrell Williams, it's a downgrade.
Yeah, but when Marvin Jones goes to the Jags, he's not the lead dog there. He's behind Chark. He's behind Laviska Shenault.
He's not behind Laviska Shenault. He's not going to be behind Laviska Shenault.
Okay, he's neck and neck with Laviska Shenault. So it's not like when he goes places, he becomes the man. So really, to me, he wasn't the man here either. So wide receiver core, I would say it's a step back. I'm not dumb enough to say we've taken a step forward. But when I look at all these things and I add them together, I think it's going to produce more wins. And on top of that, you got to go with the things you can't measure. Like, guys actually want to show up to work this year. Guys actually want to hit people this year. Guys aren't coming into work dealing with some coach who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, hanging his hat on a call that he made years ago against his offensive coordinator at the time, now Darrell Bevell. So, there's just so many things that I can look at and not understand why everybody thinks this team's going to take a step back.
It's not that they're taking a step back as a team.
If they're going to be better. More games, they're going to step back.
No. See, that's where you and every other Lions fan are just so
play?
Incompetent.
Why
and I'll tell
play?
you why. And I'll tell you why.
We play
and I'll
to
tell
win
you why.
the game.
Your team, this Detroit Lions roster, is going to improve from last year's roster just because of potential and growth. That are such a young team. This team has the 4th hardest schedule in the NFL.
Okay.
Yet you expect them somehow to have more wins with a downgrade at quarterback, a downgrade at wide receiver. The secondary has not been solved. You don't know what you're getting out at linebacker. No, it's not even a question.
Last year's defense was historically bad. You're telling me it can't get better?
It'll be slightly better.
Okay,
it won't be,
so maybe there's a win.
And
right?
the offense will be worse. And the offense will be worse.
Maybe. Maybe. You don't know
goodness.
that.
I know.
You don't even know what type of
I
offense
know.
we're going to be running.
I know. They're going to be statistically across the board outside of maybe sacks allowed, and I want to say rush attempts, they're going to be down across the board. They're going to be
rush
a bottom
attempts?
tier.
No, they're going to be way higher on rush attempts.
That's what I said. I said outside of rush attempts and sacks allowed, those two I think are going to be really highly rated this year.
Allowed.
Well, yeah, because they're not going to throw the ball as much. They're not going to drop back 40 times a game.
Well,
So
and Goff is captain check down, so he's going to take less sacks.
That and they have a good offensive line. It's a good offensive line. So
right,
they're going to be worse across the board on offense outside of those two categories.
So we're not going to be a historically bad defense, right? You'll say
yeah,
that.
But you're still going to be a bad defense.
Yeah, bad, but not historically bad.
Okay, name me a scenario in the league where you have a bad defense and you got worse on offense and you somehow are going to win more football games the next year because Dan Campbell comes in with 2 cups of coffee and says, "I love you guys. We're going to have a great culture here." It's not happening. Year 1, year 2, we can revisit.
Because I'm not looking at the
8,
offense
9,
as a
wins.
major step back like you are.
It's a major step back, and I can't believe how if you downgrade at quarterback and you have zero, you don't have a number 1, you don't have a number 2 going into the season. How in God's name are you supposed to compete in the NFL?
Because for the first time ever, you have a top 10 line. And the game is won in the trenches. It is.
I didn't know the offensive linemen get open, and I didn't know the offensive linemen. Let's see, Tyrell Williams, Quintez Cephas, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's your dynamic wide receiving core that's somehow going to win you 3 more games than last year? Not going to happen.
Yeah, but you have a better offensive line. You have running backs with more season to them. Like we discussed, Jamal Williams is going to have a big year. At least I feel that way. So, you could take the negatives of just the wide receiver core and focus on that all you want. But as we just went over, who did we really lose? Marvin Jones? Oh, no. And Marvin Hall? Oh, no. There wasn't a huge drop-off in who we lost this year. Kenny Golladay, dude didn't even want to play here. So he showed up. He faked an injury for half a season. Now he's in New York, and they're
Who won you the football games? Who
him.
won your games early on in the season against Atlanta? Who won your football games early on against
Todd
Jacksonville?
Gurley.
Todd Gurley, not Kenny Golladay catching the 40-yard deep outs, right?
Yeah, but you think you don't
You
think
don't have
Tyrell
that
Williams
ability.
is capable
Tyrell
of catching
Williams
a ball?
is not capable of playing like Kenny Golladay.
When he was the wide receiver one, when he was playing,
He isn't a wide receiver one, though. That's the problem.
He was putting up Kenny Golladay numbers. He was. Can we go to the stats? Anybody?
Please do. Go ahead. Pull up Tyrell Williams and Kenny Golladay.
And while you do that, I'll give you my prediction.
Go ahead, Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy, what you got? 10-7?
No. A little bit more realistic than that. I'm going with 6-11. Because we have a harder schedule than we did last year. Things have upgraded. Wide receivers have downgraded. Coaching staff is better, which I think will result in one more win. That is all. What are your stats?
What are my stats?
Yes.
For what? Tyrell Williams?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
Adam
listen.
wanted.
While Stick goes and does that, listen, guys. This football team is on track to
2016.
Go ahead.
Over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Okay. And the one season he was healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. When he's had
give me
the
Kenny
chance.
Golladay. Okay, wait, and with the Chargers, right? You're talking that same Chargers team. Who was his supporting wide receivers? He wasn't a wide receiver one.
I believe he was. Kenny Golladay. He's pretty similar. 2018, he had 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2019, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. Last year, 338 yards and 2 touchdowns.
How many games
he
played?
sure made our season for
How many
us.
games played? You're going. Okay, read Tyrell Williams if you want to count the years where he missed half the season, if not more than half the season. Tyrell Williams has been just as injury prone. Kenny Golladay is more dynamic of a wide receiver than Tyrell Williams. It's not even close. He gives you a tall, lanky, down the field.
The stats are very similar, man.
Oh my
Honestly,
goodness.
they're very similar.
Oh my goodness.
They are.
It's people.
They both average about 15 yards per reception, no matter how many receptions they're having. Like Tyrell Williams had 42 last year, 41, 43, and he's always around 15. Then you look at Kenny Golladay. He had 20 receptions last year, 60, 70, then 28 the year before. Always around 15 yards.
60 and 70 are wide receiver, low-tier wide receiver one, basically top-tier wide receiver 2 numbers. Tyrell Williams isn't either. He's maybe on a good football team. On a good football team, he can be a deep threat. That's it. Put up 40 catches, like you said, 700 yards and a few touchdowns. That's Tyrell Williams. He's not going to be a number 1. The team doesn't have a number 1.
Well, he
doesn't
is
have a number 2.
1.
Well, that's the problem. That's a problem.
Listen, I'm not saying Tyrell Williams is the end-all, be-all, but you got to admit, Kenny Golladay wasn't either.
We're not talking about Kenny Golladay. We're talking about this current Detroit Lions team. They downgraded at wide receiver. They downgraded
but it's
at
not
quarterback.
that big of a downgrade if you look at the
It's
numbers.
not that big of a downgrade. Oh, my goodness.
If you look at the numbers.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, only if you look at one season, Kenny Golladay was hurt. And then the 2 years prior, he was actually an elite receiver. But you won't say that right now because Kenny Golladay isn't here anymore. And you're not you're the fan that when the guy produces for you, you love him. He's a great number 1. Oh, my God, Kenny Golladay, he's great. But then last year when he gets hurt and then he doesn't want to show up and play for the team, it's like, all right, no, he's gone. We didn't downgrade that much, guys. For Lions fans, and you ask me why I rip on all of you. This is exactly why.
Yeah, because
Kennedy,
we look at stats and actually come up with arguments.
Get us out of here, Kennedy.
Or a flag to throw at you guys.
Stats don't matter. It's
Knock
only
it
opinion.
off.
Stats don't matter, guys.
It's only
Knock
opinion.
it off. All right, we gotta go because up next we gotta talk about the Little League World Series, which will hopefully make Stick so much happier. So
I'm always happy.
I know, but I mean, Adam gets you a little bit revved up. You know what I'm saying? All right, so
It's just hard to educate people so much.
Yeah, you and every
see you
Lions
guys.
fan needs to be educated for
Adam,
your
shut
60
up.
years of delusion.
Adam, shut up. We will see you
Unreal.
guys after the
60
break.
years,
This
you wanna
is
tell me?
Woodward Sports. Bye.
Opa! Introducing Papa Romano's new Greek pizza, a tasty blend of bold Greek flavors and Mediterranean toppings, including feta cheese and Greek dressing. Get a large Greek pizza for a limited time for $16.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. So happy to have you hanging out right here with us. All right, we're going to get into the Little League World Series. Big congrats to Taylor North. They won and became Michigan's first Little League World Series, champs since 1959. That's a long time.
Yep.
So, Stick, you watched.
I watched the regionals. Yay. I watched the sectionals.
Good for
I watched
you.
everything.
I didn't see a little second of it.
How?
Oh, you guys
Actually,
are a bunch
that's
of
a lie. I did
wimps.
see some of it when I was at a bar, but I wasn't really paying attention. I would glance here and there, though.
So you were watching 12-year-old boys at the bar?
Oh, God dang it.
No, I watched every single bit of it, and it was just really cool to see. I have a connection to Little League Baseball. When I played, when I was 12 years old, our 12-year-old Commerce Little League team was very close to making it to Williamsport. We had a damn good team. We had kids on there that were throwing like 65, 70 miles an hour, and it's just always held a special place in my heart. And this year, watching a team from downriver, 20, 30 minutes from us, because a lot of people don't know this too, Taylor hosts the Next Level World Series, the 14-year-old World Series. It's held in Taylor every single year. So Taylor has this rich history of baseball. They're great kids. It's a great community. As you know, downriver is just like a whole nother world, and those communities are literally like this. So to watch them all come together, hearing "Let's Go Taylor" be chanted on ABC on a Sunday was just awesome to me, and I loved watching every single bit of it, and I'm so happy for those kids from Taylor, and they have this now for the rest of their lives. Like, I have my regret for not making it the rest of my life. They won the championship of the entire nation, and cherry on top, they beat Ohio.
Yeah, that's the only time Michigan has beaten Ohio in the last 20 years. So
isn't that crazy?
I hate to roast Michigan football, but it's been bad. It was amazing to watch. They won 5-2. Look, when you're talking about kids and playing ball, like we always say, winning doesn't matter. It's about having fun. But when you do accomplish something and you're a kid, you never forget it. It is a memory that lasts forever. You'll never forget the feeling you had when the final out was recorded, the memories you shared with your teammates, the laughs on the bus. I mean, there's something special about the Little League World Series, I will say. Although I don't watch it, I will admit there is something special about it. It's magical. It's very similar to the Olympics when they come around, right?
Yeah.
You always have that underdog person that medals, and you're like, oh my goodness, who's this person? Like, they came out of nowhere. The 17-year-old, the 18-year-old. You're like, I'll root for that. Like, that's the vibe I get from the Little League World Series. So, congratulations to Taylor North. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How can you even like put it into words? I really can't.
I loved how they were interviewing the kids after the game, and they're like, what is your memory going to be of this? Are you, this is a memory that you're going to carry for your lifetime. And the kid's like, well, yeah, because we just won, so I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it. And it's like they just give the most blatant, obvious answers, and you absolutely love it out of them. Coaching, absolutely amazing throughout the whole thing. The way they lined up their pitchers. The pitcher that they had pitching yesterday with the long hair looking like the kid from Dazed and Confused. Like, that was fun to watch. They were talking about their one kid that has a little mustache at 12 years old and about how people keep asking for his birth certificate and stuff like that. It's just all those little nuances that you don't get in the professional realm because it's professional. We must be buttoned up. We must be good. Everything must be perfect. For them, it's like, my favorite Twinkie is the Oreo Twinkie, and like you get those fun little stat lines. So yeah, congratulations to Taylor North, and congratulations to the entire city of Taylor and downriver and the state of Michigan. Like Kennedy said, it's the first time that Michigan has won the Little League World Series since Hamtramck did it back in the day. What's up, Fish?
Hey, do you put an asterisk on it because technically Little League World didn't happen? So do you put an asterisk on it?
You can't do that.
It's not an asterisk, but it's definitely different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to put an asterisk to, like, take it away in a negative way, but they didn't have to play the world. Like, they weren't playing Chinese Taipei. They weren't playing, all the traditional teams that are in.
They would have made it to the championship game yesterday,
Yep.
but they would have had to play Japan probably because they're always...
Yeah, it's weird because of COVID. They didn't have the rest of the world involved this year. So... I wouldn't say an asterisk.
I think that's too much.
Yeah, they're still hanging the banner. They're still Little League champions. It's just, Yeah, I think later down the road they're going to regret that they weren't able to play those teams.
Do they give away like mini trophies to the teams that finish like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th? Do they do that? Please tell me no.
I hope not.
They have a third place game.
Okay, third I don't mind. I mean, it's kind of common in the world.
bronze.
Like you have a third place, a bronze medalist basically. So I'm okay with that. But Fish, you were giving me a lot of stiff last week about the Little League World Series. What were your thoughts over the weekend?
I enjoyed it. It was, as I expected, very happy for Michigan. I did not expect them to go all the way. Well, I expected them to go to the final, I guess, and they did. And they won. I was very happy. But other than that, it was just love when end of August comes around because the Little League World Series is always a favorite. Disappointed the World didn't play. But other than that, it was just great baseball. I don't know. I don't know if it's better than pro sports, but it's up there.
The Little League World Series to me is like, honestly, it's one of my favorite sporting events every single year.
By the way, you brought up because you said that it's the purest sport. Well, now you just lost another sport that was up there, college sports, because they're getting paid now.
Yeah, college sports aren't pure. College sports have never been pure.
Well, they would have been pure because they didn't get paid.
Yeah, they were getting paid.
Well,
now it's just legal for them to get paid.
Should not have gotten paid.
Right. Yeah, now they're getting paid legally. But they've always been getting paid in college.
What was your question, sir?
I was just going to say, did you ever play Little League, Fish?
Well, I mean, technically when I was like 6, 7, 8, like a long time ago.
What position did they have you at?
I remember I was catcher once, and I was a bad catcher because I'd always get scared of the ball coming at me.
It
was machine pitch.
You were scared of the machine?
Well, no, I was scared when the ball was coming at me. So I'd always move, and of course, catcher gear, and it would always bang me in the hip. There's no
Adham,
protection
you played
there.
Little League ball, right?
I didn't play Little League ball. I didn't pick up a baseball until I was 12 years old.
See, maybe that's why you don't have like the love for Little League.
I played football growing up, so I still played like youth, and I played basketball a lot growing up. But no, I didn't pick up a baseball till I was 12. I really wish I would have picked it up earlier, though. It's like one of my my beefs with my dad still, because like my dad is a huge Tigers fan, and that was actually the first sport he like gave himself to before football when he came from overseas, and I don't know why he never like pushed me to do baseball. And I was like super late. I just like picked up a mitt one day. I'm like, hey Dad, I want to go try out for the team. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. End of story.
Baseball's a great sport. Youth athletics are so important to just developmental overall. So make
social
sure
too. It's like social development, man.
It's funny because Broder, you know, the guy that's on the Space Dogs, he was talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, outside of baseball, I don't really know how to talk to people, like how to interact, because like this is my only way to interact with people." Because we were talking about when you're 12 years old like that, you're going to tournaments, you're all staying in the same hotel. There's the one mom who collects all your jerseys and cleans them for you and gets them back to you before the next game. Like it's such a cool communal thing. Right, Kennedy?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I didn't play baseball, obviously, but I did play softball, and I loved softball tournaments. I think my parents hated going to them, but it was so fun, and you had, like, all of your chants with all your teammates to, like, piss off the other team. It was fun. It was just, yeah, it was a good time. And then my brother was always playing travel hockey, and that was more like hotels and stuff.
Yep.
Because I think I played on a regional travel softball team, and so we weren't going like super far or anything. But Tanner, my twin, was always everywhere, and so I got to travel with his team. And obviously, we're twins; we were the same age, so I was always playing mini sticks in the hallway with the guys at the tournament, and it was a good time. Yeah, I think for sure it teaches you how to be social, teaches you hard work, teamwork, all the good things. Sports are for sure like necessary for kids.
They did have the Little League Softball World Series, Kenny. Did you watch any of that?
I did not.
Oh wow! So Kennedy watches the Little League World Series, but not softball.
I didn't
not
even
cool,
say
Kennedy.
Way to support women, Kennedy.
What was I thinking?
My favorite part about baseball, though, traveling and like a majority of it was high school. Was we would travel on the same bus as the softball team. So by the time their games finished, it was like the third or fourth inning of our game. It was like, you know, that was the way you'd show off to the chicks at school.
There you go.
That's how you dated back in the day before Tinder.
Before Tinder.
You would just, you know, throw the heat, and when your coach tells you to throw a curveball, you're like, no, I'm throwing gas, coach.
Sorry, I got to impress Lori. She's out here watching.
Literally.
Well, if you want to be impressed, there's only one place that you need to go, and that is our friends at Levels Cannabis. It is amazing, and make sure you go there. It's open in Centerline right now, and when you stop by, let them know that Woodward Sports sent you, and there's their beautiful building right there. And see that little car that's out in front of there? They're still giving that car away, and all you have to do is download their app, and you can start getting points immediately. So search for the app today. It's Enjoy Levels in the Apple or Google Play stores, and make sure when you stop by Levels in Centerline, you let them know that Woodward Sports sent you. They'll hook you up.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Is it time?
Yeah, it is. Fish!
Go fish.
Fish facts.
It's fish!
All right, today is Monday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Did you guys have a good weekend? I know, Stick, you had a good weekend. Adam, you have a good weekend?
I had a busy weekend. I did not enjoy my weekend as I would have liked to.
That's
okay.
Stick.
What are you going to do?
Other than the Taylor.
I had a good weekend. Adam surprised me with several things this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a good weekend. I played a bunch of softball. I was able to see my buddy out at his house, and he lives by a lake, so I jumped in a lake after softball. And yeah, overall, a lot of work, but good weekend.
Sounds exciting. Hopefully you guys weren't, because you're not the soccer fan I thought you were, Adam. But you probably did not see this game over the weekend. This was, we got to a video, by the way. Shrewsbury and Gillingham in League One over in England. And you're going to see a mini scuffle that's going to end up turning into a fight, as you can see there. And we have cards coming out. So we got a red card coming out to number 20 red. That was the second yellow,
That's
by
why
the way.
the world is sawfish. That's the definition of a fight in today's world.
Then
That's nothing.
yellow's going to get... And see that salmon guy right there?
Oh.
He's going to come out,
that
and
a
he's
streaker?
going to... No, he's a substitute. He's going to start attacking the assistant coach
Oh, wow.
of the other
okay,
team.
now we're talking my language.
The salmon guy's
Somebody
a substitute,
needed to do
so-
that when Matt Patricia was the head coach of the Lions. I'm just saying, what were all of you doing at Ford Field? How did no one think to run onto the field and attack the guy?
I thought of it several times. I just didn't do it.
What are we doing in Detroit, man?
The yellow and
Need more of that.
the
Learn
yellow
from the
blue team
Europeans.
won, by the way, 2-1. If any of you guys care, but that was an interesting fight that happened over the weekend. Speaking of over the weekend, baseball, largest run differential versus a single opponent in a season divisional era. It was the Rays and Orioles plus 79. Orioles, by the way, had their 19 game losing streak snapped last week to the Angels. Other numbers on there: Dodgers, Padres plus 82, Indians, Tigers plus 78. 2019. I'm sure you guys remember that disastrous season. Cubs, Reds, and the Cardinals, Pirates in 0-1. So some not great numbers there.
Some beatdowns.
Those are beatdowns. We now go to most consecutive games reaching bases safely. Players under 100 or age 20 or under is Wander Franco, 29 of them. You got some good names. Mel Ott on there a few times. Mickey Mantle and Archie Vaughn, 33 times. He's a good rookie. Have you heard of him, Stick?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he plays for the Rays. Mm-hmm. He's looking good. Speaking of looking good, Shohei Ohtani.
Always looking good.
He is looking good. Third AL player with 40 home runs and 20 stolen bases, plus, by the way, before September, which is coming up on Wednesday. He joined Alex Rodriguez in 2007 and Ken Griffey Jr. in 1999.
That's some good names to belong to, man. Anytime you're on a list with Junior and Rodriguez, that's solid.
Very solid. Speaking of solid, we have birthdays today. 1930, Warren Buffett.
Ooh.
It is his birthday.
1930?
That man's got some cash.
Is he 81? No, 9.
Yeah, 90.
91.
What?
Yeah.
You're not dead yet?
No.
Wow.
Money.
That's
Money
impressive.
will keep you alive.
He's 91?
That is.
How's he not dead?
People live past 91. It's crazy.
Yeah, people live to like 100 now. We have another birthday. He's not quite 91. That was really mean, by the way, Adam. Adam Wainwright. He was a good pitcher for the Cardinals in 1981. And those are the birthdays over the weekend. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We're going to have a great week. Okay, can we confirm that?
Let's have a great
We're
week,
gonna have a great
Fish.
week. Labor Day weekend, by the way, this weekend.
It is.
So we'll be back for Tuesday. Those are the facts.
Thank you, Fish.
Thanks, Fish. You're the best. But guys, a lot of people are commenting, how was Joey's wedding? You didn't even talk about that. We need to know.
Can we talk about that next?
We can talk about that next.
All right.
All right. Are we taking a break?
Kennedy, you're hilarious. Let's talk about Joey's wedding. All right, Joey's wedding. Stick, you showed up a little late.
Yes.
I showed up a little later. Or I think it was vice versa, right? I showed up before.
You were there before me.
It was a weird wedding, first. Let me just say, as a somewhat close to his culture. I was like dumbfounded a little bit. Like usually at a wedding, the groom and the bride and groom are like in the center of the dance floor. They don't go anywhere. They're in the middle of the dance floor. They're dancing with everybody for like 2 to 3 hours. Joey was just walking around talking to people during his wedding. I was so confused. It was like one of the most confusing things I've ever seen in my life. And one of the pros was there was a bar, Kennedy. So we did enjoy ourselves. A lot of people showed up. Justin was there. Stick, obviously. It was nice. It was a good wedding. Beautiful, beautiful hall. And a beautiful bride and groom. So I'm happy for Joey and Tianza. It was amazing.
As usual, Adam is underselling the hell out of it. This was the best wedding I've ever been to in my entire life.
Stick, you looked like you had a little bit of fun.
I had the most fun I've ever had at any wedding I've ever been to. And, like, first of all, Joey is an amazing person. We all know this. But the amount of amazing people that he had at his wedding was hilarious, too. And just the array of people. Like, you know, that's one of the best parts about Joey is it doesn't matter who you are, where you are in life, he's going to treat you the same. And, you know, there were CEOs that $100 million in the bank. And there were other people that we know make $10 an hour. And it was all different cultures, all different races. The food was delicious. I got to party with his family. I showed up after the Friday night football game. We had Orchard Lake St. Mary's in Oak Park. So St. Mary's wasn't too far away from where his venue was at Shenandoah. So I drove right after the game. And if you didn't catch that St. Mary's Oak Park game, it's up now on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you want to check that out. And then this week we have another big game coming too. It's going to be Birmingham Groves versus Southfield A&T. But I don't have a wedding to go to after this game. So, but honestly, Joey's wedding, just phenomenal. Everything about it. They had frozen roses in ice sitting behind them. Like, that was his backdrop. Just these huge, like, this thing must have cost more than my entire house.
Right.
It was absolutely beautiful. I ended up stealing a fifth from the bar from behind, going to my table, pouring shots for everybody. Like, I was out on the dance floor sweating my ass off. It was great.
Sweating so hard that you had to drink from a vase, or was that your friend?
That was Hassan.
What was that I saw?
Hassan drank from a vase. Yeah, he was drinking from the vase.
I was like, this is interesting, this little bit of content. I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah, it got to a point, like, at the end of the night where a lot of us were doing stuff we really didn't know what it was. Like, Joey and I did a Coney review because American Coney had their late night Conies with them, which was awesome. Yeah, it was crazy. I know, Alex, I sent you a couple pictures if you want to throw a couple of them up because it was just a great night. You know, a lot of the Woodward Sports family was there, so it was cool to hang out with everybody in a non-work setting, you know, because, you know, we grind so hard here every single week that it was time to let go.
I left early, Kennedy, so I didn't get to experience all this stuff.
Of course you did, Adam.
I know. Adam did the Irish dip, too. Like,
no,
he didn't even say bye.
No,
you did
not
the
true.
Irish goodbye?
I said bye to everyone. You were. I couldn't even find you. You were MIA. So I don't know where you were. But,
I was getting drunk saying hi to
well,
everybody.
there you go. So I wasn't. I had to leave early. So whatever. It was fun though.
Yeah,
it was
but
very
overall,
fun.
great wedding. And, you know, I talked to Joey. He's in Cancun now, but I talked to him on Saturday, and he said he had a great time too.
When did he fly off to Cancun?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh. Yesterday, because they had
in the morning, right? Was it an early?
Yep.
I drunk texted Joey on Saturday because I thought I saw him at this club that I was at. And I was like, Joey, are you here? He was like, Kennedy, first of all, it's 3 in the morning. Second of all, unless I'm hosting a party at a club, I wouldn't be there.
Oh, 3 in the morning. I was up then.
Well,
I should have texted Fish instead.
You could have.
But there was this guy that looked exactly like Joey, and I didn't want to, like, run up just in case it wasn't Joey, so I texted him.
What a weekend.
What a weekend. But anyway, speaking of homies that we know.
Not homies. I don't consider this guy a homie.
Oh, okay. Not homies.
Sorry.
Quandre Diggs is looking for a new deal.
Good.
So do you think we could use him here, or should he be extended? All right, Adam, go ahead.
Yeah,
Just
no.
go ahead.
You don't want Diggs back?
No. What he wants, no.
Oh, okay.
To quote unquote, I want to be paid at an elite level, and then he finishes off with something like, I want to get paid what I deserve. Which you're talking like a 14, anywhere from a 12 to maybe a $15 million annual contract for a safety. They just paid Jamal, or a corner, I should say. They just paid Jamal Adams. He's not getting that money in Seattle. So my takeaway is they're trading him before the deadline. And he's not coming to Detroit. They just don't need him right now. They have A.J. Parker, Jeff Okudah, you have Iffy. Guys, let them play. Let them get their reps. And let them grow into the team. You don't need to bring on a veteran. This is the same concept that the Pistons ran. They started the year with Blake and D Rose. They shipped them off, and oh my goodness, everybody got to see Beef Stew, Sadiq Bey, and Killian Hayes when he was available. And everybody walked, even Saban Lee. And everybody walked away from the season like, we got better. The players improved. We didn't win the amount of games you would have liked, but we got the #1 overall pick. We just drafted him. Now we add him to the team. We're a young, promising, growing team. Why can you guys understand a young, promising, growing team for every team in Detroit except the Lions? Somebody explain that to me. But back to Quandre Diggs.
I mean, I can explain that to you real
Please.
quick. The NFL is the quickest turnaround to becoming a champion from coming from the cellar. That's it. Like, we've seen it happen.
You
can be horrible one year, and you can be competing for the Super Bowl the next year.
If you have
That's
a
the best part
if you
about
have a
the
good
NFL.
roster and a very good coach. The Lions have neither of them right now. They don't have a good roster.
The coach is
and their head
unproven.
coach is unproven.
Unproven. I wouldn't say he's not a very
Well, he's
good
not very
coach.
good, though. Yeah, he could be. We
I was
don't
gonna-
know.
we don't know.
Unproven.
We don't know.
Okay, so you have an unproven head coach.
Yep.
And you have a below-average roster. They're not going to turn it around this year. They need another year or two, which is fine. But the Detroit Pistons, in the NBA, you draft the #1 overall, you get the #1 overall pick, and you hit on it, you're set for the next 10, 12, 14 years. You're competing. You're competing by year 3 of his rookie contract. That's just the reality. So when you get a star, you're booked in the NBA. When you get a star in hockey, you're booked. Baseball, a little different. It's probably more on the lines of football, but there's no salary cap. So, again, it's a different sport. But still, Lions should go nowhere near Quandre Diggs. You should get nowhere near him unless you plan on trading for him, using him for the year, which I don't know why you would, because you're not going to be competing for a wild card spot, let alone your division.
How old is he? He's 28, right? So
you re-up him on a 4-year deal.
How many years? Yeah,
he's going to want a
deal.
4-year deal.
So you're talking 32. Yeah, the timing's a little off on it. I like the idea of us getting a safety in here, though, that can actually hit and play. Because I forget who I was having the conversation with over the weekend, and we were just talking about when the Lions' defense was good. We had like a James ahead of Bo back there. You know, and Delmas, even though Delmas never turned out to be great, Delmas, he was a heat-seeking missile at some point.
You need a hard-hitting safety.
Exactly, and that's what I would love to have, a Diggs-type player at safety for us. I know it's not a long-term investment, but if we had the salary cap and we had the ability to bring him in, I think that is one of the major positions in our secondary that we can upgrade, because we're not committed to anybody at safety.
I agree,
at this
and I would
point.
agree with you any other year. I would agree with you if this team was, you know, they were a 6-10, 7-9. They showed glimpses. They had the returning quarterback. They had returning star players. They had skill players. Like, if this was a developed roster, this would make sense, and I would be on board with it.
Okay.
They're just, guys, they're rebuilding. They're rebuilding. Why would they go and commit money when this team, realistically, if you want to be honest with yourself, they're looking at Jared Goff. Now, will he overwhelm and impress? It's very unlikely. Still a possibility, but very unlikely given his situation. So they're going to move off of him in 2 years. They're going to draft a quarterback either in the next draft or the year after. And they're going to move on. And they're going to go with the model that the Seahawks and every other team in the last decade has proven. The Ravens, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, even the Rams to an extent, the Niners. When you're working on rookie contract deals, you can surround your year 2, year 3 quarterback with veterans. You can pay them all, and you can have a solid roster. That's what the Detroit Lions are on track to do. Not happening this year. So I think it's premature. I would stay away from Quandre Diggs. And if I was the Seahawks, I would just trade him before the deadline. If you can get something, maybe an edge rusher. They do need help on the edge, but you know, I'm not sure what he's going to command in the market.
Yeah, where does he go? Like he
can go wherever he wants. I mean, he's not getting paid the money he thinks he's going to get paid, unless it's going to be maybe on Houston. Maybe Houston will fork up the money because they have to, in the NFL, you have to spend a certain amount of the salary cap. So maybe they make the move for him. But again, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for the Detroit Lions. No.
Yeah, if he was like 22, 23, maybe you make that commitment. But yeah, I'm with you on the age thing. But like I said, we need a safety like that, though.
The problem
we do eventually.
is if you bring him in, you don't want to take away snaps from you're not going to take away snaps from Okudah, but I'm looking at AJ Parker. I'm looking at Iffy.
I'm not looking at him as a corner at all. I'm looking at him just as a safety.
Hybrid, moving him to safety.
Yep.
But is he is he going to be that hard-hitting safety you need?
He can be. I've seen it, but that's why I don't look at him as a cornerback. He's not going to take away play
If you
from
wanted
those
to
guys.
bring him in, it would be a very hard sell for me. Because, again, I don't think they're going to be competing for the division, let alone the wild card. So when you're going to have to give up picks to get him in here, it's not a good deal for me. I'm a hard pass on it. Kennedy, I know you have feelings for the guy, so yes or no to Quandre
I actually
Diggs?
don't.
I thought you were a Slay girl.
I am. So
Okay.
I actually
Same
really
thing.
don't have too many feelings about this. I didn't mind him, obviously. I thought he was a good player, but he could stay, he could come. I wouldn't really care. Either way.
Okay.
Chilling.
Chilling. All right,
Chilling either
Diggs.
way. But, all right. This has been fun, you guys. Thanks for joining us today, Stick.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning. I know Jeff wasn't feeling well, so I got the call, called in the righty from the bullpen, and here we are. So thank you,
All right,
Adam.
thanks, Jeff, for being sick. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks,
you,
Jeff.
Stick. Thanks for filling in. Fish, thanks for being you. I wouldn't change you for anything outside of the Little League World Series comments you make, but that's a...
Don't put up with that stuff, Fish.
I'll try not to.
All right.
Doing awesome. All right. This has been such a beautiful Monday
Well,
with you guys.
before we get out of here,
Oh.
Alex has some pictures from Joey's wedding ready to throw up. So
good.
we can end the show with beautiful images of Joey's wedding and some video.
Perfect.
There we are. Some of the old school radio people we used to work with.
Thanks for the picture.
Yep. There's Joey.
Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful bride and groom.
Yeah. There's me and Joey. There they are dancing. Like, honestly, Joey looked great. Tiansa is amazing. Their families. There's Joey dancing with his nana. And yeah, overall, in there. Look at the nuns in the front of that video. And this is the one thing I love about Arabic culture is how everybody just lifts people up in the air at all times. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah, the father, the bride, the groom, they can all get it.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing ever.
So,
All
yeah,
right, well,
congratulations, Joey. We love you, buddy.
congratulations,
Congrats,
Joey
Joey.
Tiansa. Thank
All right. This has been the Morning Wood. We will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Woo.